I'm going to put
Okay,
my
I'm
mute
recording.
in a bit.
Recording it because it's absolutely mint listening to it.
No, you can't get this on. Come on. How
Yeah.
can you get this on? My privacy is so important. I can't be drunk on a call.
What? I can't be drunk on the call.
Yeah, obviously, it's the system. I can't be drunk on a call. I'll be unprofessional.
You were just
Oh my
joking,
God, we've
weren't
broken
you?
the law. Obviously, I'm joking. I want to make fun of the system while you're recording, right? I want to
Okay.
show them their place in the universe a bit, those commercial law freaks, psychopaths. There you go.
Well, that's quite an introduction to tonight's show. We'll all be mostly
Yeah.
drunk
Seriously,
and
no.
stoned.
We've seen the system for what it is. All right. There's no hiding anymore because quite frankly, I wanna meet you at the mind, Minister Emoven, and be at a place where and I know I still have a big journey ahead of me, but the implementation that we are going to undertake is something that people just won't understand. I'm at a party right now, and there's friends and stuff, and I've been talking, and they've been arguing with me, but I'm like, there is no argument. There can be no argument anymore because now you're talking to the undefinable. So how can there be an argument? Just ends right there, doesn't it? It's like, who are you talking to? Are you talking to the person, the name you used to know, or the universal energy that's sitting in front of you? Decide. Because that universal energy also has a fiction now for you, which is called Minister Emoven. 22 million of us. Who are you going to catch? Are we the Ghostbusters now? There you go.
I knew you were going to say that.
Obviously. Just the apt analogy, right? For people who understand something at least. Meaning, I would even get I would just get like snooty faces if I'd ever made that joke.
You get what
Just because,
faces? What faces?
like snooty, that'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I don't care.
Snobby.
Which is like, yeah, exactly. Which is what the system has been made into, unfortunately.
So, are you telling me that you'd like to meet me at the mind because you're pissed? You're trying to tell me
I'm just
something.
like, actually, I forgot I said that. But like in terms of just having your just trying to at least have a feeling of the vision that you had when you did this, like when you made this possible for everybody, is the meeting of the mind that I wanted to have with you, in fact.
Well, you already have, haven't you? Because you've already been practicing it. So, and this is why it's been so great in these last few days, because it's the response from the people is that you're finding it so much more easy to be able to put it into practice. And in fact, just really turning around in huge amounts and just saying, actually, I realised it was me that was doing it to me. So what you said about hiding, there's nowhere to hide. You can't hide from yourself, really, is what you're saying anymore.
Exactly.
And you don't need to. We were talking about this last night. It's like you're shouting over your shoulder at your imaginary friend, stop doing these things to me. And you're actually doing it to yourself. And, you've got this imaginary friend that, not so much of a friend, this horrible, scary bit of yourself. And it's like it's catching up with its awareness of itself. You're catching up with the awareness that there's more parts to you than you could ever possibly define, first of all. And the way that people are putting this into practice now, just by even writing it, the feedback that we've had about actually putting into writing, putting down your liabilities on those claim forms has helped so many people, because then that document leads in that you've obviously got today, and it went up on Facebook, and I've seen quite a few people have been sharing that out of the group as well, which is...
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know this at all. I hadn't seen the file section actually today. I missed that part. I didn't know you'd uploaded something.
What do you mean? The document?
Yeah,
Have you
yeah, the
not seen it?
document.
Have you not seen that document today that you've
I
got?
have, I have.
All right,
No,
okay.
I just didn't know you uploaded.
Yeah, because it's, you know, I was going to just put it in the training manual, but everybody needs to see this stuff. That's why it's oh,
I'm so glad that, oh my God, you know, this is the first time I probably felt like work is like your energy is actually paying off. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like it's actually paying off.
your
Meaning
consent
it's so
counts.
unbelievable that people just like don't understand simplicity anymore. Like how lost is simplicity right now within people, within so-called people, humans, whatever. But the children of the light, there you go.
And it's
Meaning,
standing in it, and it's it's losing that fear of the thing that you thought that you didn't know. But then when it got to the point where there's another bit to you, no, it's not mine, it's not me, it's them. And so, you know, just getting away from yourself and separating yourself. So, you know, things like these definitions of what's professional, and we've had this quite a lot because
that was a joke though.
no, we're going about, and some people have put on there, um, on the Facebook groups and things like that, and we'd had some feedback from some very serious people who'd come and joined us in the summer. And because, you know, when you look at what it is that we've taken seriously all our lives, it's been one great big pantomime, then how can you suddenly say you even have a valid definition of serious? Are you seriously telling me you're serious about defining yourself as a Vatican debt slave? Let's start there. And you've done it all your life. And now you're going to come to these people who have said, woohoo, we've got rid of all of that. And you're going to come and tell us that we need to be that thing again that you're just coming out of. And when you get to the point where, you know, it is yoo-hoo, I can be anything that I want to be. And so suddenly you're genuine. You know, you've lost all of the emperor's clothes, if you like, all of that facade. And I saw a great picture of somebody, she's not quite come into the trust yet, but she's you know, she's I think she's been in some of the Zoom rooms, but and she'd taken a selfie, you know, and said, you know, that this is her completely raw, and that she'd never felt like being able to do that before, you know, void of all the trappings. And I mean, people, you won't recognize me. People from my past wouldn't recognize me if they walk past me in the street now. And because it's all of that, you know, gloss, that glosser, whether it's been in our language or our lives in commerce, it was reflected out of ourselves with our, you know, coiffured hair and lopsided eyebrows, for example, because somebody somewhere said this is what you should look like. And so we all went, ooh, compare myself to that. Compare yourself to anything, and this other thing comes out of you that that replaces that. Instead, you don't need that gloss, because that shining thing that you really are comes right out and blinds the people in the dark, that dark part of yourself that you expose it all. And so yes, it is like going inside and looking at all those bits that we maybe not like to admit to ourselves, that, you know, I'm a bit critical, for example, but mostly of myself. And then because I criticise myself to bits, then, you know, I haven't got really any standard by then to judge anybody else by. So, you know, you go down uh, those avenues of exploration, if you like, and you get to the point and you're like, well, wow, you know, should I invoice these people? You're claiming against yourself. Should I make a claim to this thing that I think is mine? You're claiming against yourself. And it's that, the claiming of anything, you know, that's where the division starts, and you know, that other part of yourself reflects in these people around you as giving you the snooty stare, We've got the lawyers shouting, universal law doesn't exist. Well, without it, you won't be blinking and breathing. So let's start there. We want to define now what exists. And the thing that makes you appear to exist, it doesn't exist in your mind. You've just completely popped your bubble of existence, or of your apparition, of your definition of your existence, because you just denied yourself. So, let them do it to themselves, really. Don't resonate with it. It's anybody going to Aldi, by the way, I'm going to find you. I'm kidding. Any of the supermarkets. We were talking about this last night, about the people around you that are still crediting this chaos mindset, which keeps it alive in this experience. So, but to what level do you get involved at it at? If you know that shop's selling shit and you're Minister Emoven and you're secured in the mind, are you going to go their own way, except to spray the people and release them of their debt bubbled mindset? Or are you going to go, right, okay, well, we've had some amazing feedback from, I called a company today after just doing a Google search for what was the closest business for supplying the organic produce to this particular area in Kent. And when I called them, the guy on the, I said, hello, it's Minister Emoven, and he said, oh, I know all about Minister Emoven. He said, so I said, oh dear. He said, I'm kindness credits, and I think it's absolutely great. And so I said, he said, one of my friends has told me all about this. And it's not his business. He's explained it a little bit to the owner. The owner's interested in knowing more. And so, all I can say is fantastic work, guys, going out and actually introducing this and offering people the rock and spreading this, because that's been the first time that anybody's actually said, oh yeah, we know about you, other than, oh, we know about you, put the phone down, because it's a debt recovery company that you call it and say, hello, Minister Emoven, ooh, put the phone down. So it was very nice. And so we've got a point of reference now for people to do a really comprehensive list. They've got a very extensive supply product list, and there's a document that's been done, which is going to go in this training pack. But obviously, like I just said at the beginning, let everybody see it. If you want to share some of the documents out of the files, then of course, use your discretion. You decide whether it's appropriate, edit it. If you see somebody's information there that you think is a bit too specific, and it's in a private group for a reason. But we've even opened the doors up to that. It's like there's well, actually, they said there was 1,015 members waiting to be added to it. And then when I clicked it, it went to 300 and something, and then it went to 30. So obviously Facebook has got some kind of algorithms working away in the background. But this document is really an introduction. Some people have put there, have said, look, we've got these investments that, whether it's in Bitcoin, gold, slave tokens, and we don't want it to be sitting over there and being used as implied credit for this system anymore. How can we use it in kindness credits? And it is very simple. It's the same as the company getting paid in pay-as-you-go electricity tokens, for example, or credits for a debt that's been preoccupying the mind, really, is what's happening. But in that level of mindset, when you say looking at people and they're a bit like, what did you say? You're talking about, they're only like that because they're so preoccupied with, they're preoccupied with the usual stuff. You know, it's life's pretty much the same in debt slaveville for anybody who's there, really. You're like an ambassador from another state of being, and you're here bringing this solution. Um, you've got your ID, which is unrecognizable by any corporate state. So it's like you coming, you'll have seen the shop signs, we talked about it before, tax-free shopping. If you haven't, if you're not part of the EU, you were able to buy your shopping in Harrods, for example, or stores that participated in this. But all stores, it's you would have kept, if you'd have been charged tax, that company couldn't have charged you tax if you'd pulled out your passport and implied that your tax liabilities were into another corporate state. And that's how do you remember duty free? I mean, you must do on the planes and stuff. That all stopped because we all became one super state. So our tax was obviously going to the same pot, wasn't it? If suddenly, didn't matter which country you went to, there was still no trolley dolly asking you for perfume and stuff and loads of cigarettes, and which were tax free. So what happened there is really what happens now, sorry, is you are this minister plenipotentiary equivalent, an ambassador of your own state of being, and you're here wondering what they're like from another planet. What the bloody hell are you doing to yourselves? I've had to get out, you know, come over here. I've come here for a nice holiday, and I came here to invest in your lovely community. And I hear that you're taking my energy and turning it into slave tokens, and turning it into slavery with these pieces of paper that you want me to convert my energy into. This is the currency that I use from the place where I come from. And it looks like this. Well, it's a rock. And did you know that the rock was actually supporting the back of that slave token that you want me to convert my rock into? Why don't I just give you the rock? Why do we have to turn the rock into something else so you can buy your rights off the rock back? Isn't that psychotic? Am I in Psychoticville instead? Oh, it's all part of the package. You get that as well. Wow. We get to be psychotic and psychotic slaves, because we wouldn't be slaves if we didn't do that psychotic thing of converting our energy into a frequency or a method, a mechanism of being able to enslave ourselves forever in it. And then pat ourselves on the back and say, well, look at how much profit I made out of enslaving myself and my fellow community members. Well, bravo. If anybody got any looking at these people that we're supposed to idolize and at the top of the tree of the hierarchy system, and, you know, soulless, absolutely idolizing in these representations of the sick mind and the psychosis that we've all been infected by. That's the coronavirus, the virus in your crown of that kind of mindset, perverted truth, perverted symbols, perverted implication. And in the middle of there, you know that it's not right. So, you know, consent, that you coming along and saying, right, I've got all of these people who don't want to do that. That's all you really got. That's all you're saying. PayPal had a load of people who said, yeah, we'll use PayPal. But you were assigning your consent, so it's you, if it's your consent that created this, then it's you that can uncreate it and create something else. That's what these webinars really try to help you get to that point where, you know, you first realize it was yourself that you were fighting, and then you peacefully surrender that part of yourself. And that's why, you know, just thought about Shane putting up about permission to arrest somebody. If it takes you that actual deed of having to go and face and confront that part. We had a lot of people in the summer saying, oh, you're too confrontational, all of this. You're actually confronting yourself. And that's what you're scared of. And so if it looks like somebody standing there with a magic uniform on, and you are going to exemplify the fact that you really will not stand for the law being broken, and that you really are there to uphold it, and you are completely sincere about what it is that you expect, or the bar that you have set as a standard of being kept in alignment with your own agreement with universal law, never mind what somebody else does or doesn't comprehend, or if everybody's already defined as legally incapacitated legal minor, then what consent have they got anyway at that level, people? And this is being shown and not exemplified all around. That this is what we get with that mindset, that's all. So by going and spraying somebody and going and saying, just like they've done to you, presumption, we're going to presume anything, we're presuming this. We have all assigned our consent to universal law, and anybody who's got number plates on that exemplify that they're in commerce and that they support an archaic, chaotic slavery system, then first, you're not fit to be let out. What are you doing out here after the 28th of February? You need a ULCT plates on, and that includes the policy enforcers. Otherwise, they get a fine instead, and they get their conveyances clamped, because those conveyances shouldn't be trespassing upon the resources of the creditors of the restored party. To all of this incapacitated legal mind creation, this administrative code, and that's not even remotely resembling anything lawful. You either evict it out of your mind. So if you need to go and put your hand on a policy enforcement, as I'm Minister and Ben, and I've got grounds to believe that you are breaking the law, and under the law, if I don't, I'm obliged to prevent a crime from being enacted. So based on the evidence that I've just witnessed, I have to arrest you. I have to prevent you from committing further crime. And, like I told you before, at that point, the policeman's looking at me and absolutely didn't know what to do. And the chief of police has just driven his car behind my car to stop me from removing it, and locked himself in because he can't get out. And I stuck behind the front wheel of the steering wheel, trying to get out, to come flying around the front, throw me on the floor, and stick my arms up my back, with another two coming down after chasing the film crew off. So it was, you know that it's not going to be a pleasant experience, but however long it lasts is however indoctrinated you are in that mind. If you believe if you believe it's going to be 90 days, it's not going to be 90 days. If you believe they can't do anything to you whatsoever, it's even that. It's whatever it is that you prolong is based on what it is that you believe. So I believe, based on my knowledge of how that system works, that it was going to be 90 days, so it was. And I kicked myself in the ass, actually, when I was like, what are you doing now? Because I'm saying, no more than 90 days, no more than 90 days, no, it won't be anymore because of that, because of this, compounding it in, manifesting it. And instead I'm sitting there and I'm like, why didn't I convince myself that it was only 10 days? And on the first 10th day, they were like, we were sending you home. And I stood there and I said, no, you're not. I actually said that. And they were like, no, we are. We're letting you out because we don't know what to do with you. It's one of the placements then. I said, no, you've executed the sentence, and that's why I'm going to prosecute you in the upper criteria. Because you've broken your own cacodycia, your own injunction. And he's like, no, you're going. And it was only afterwards, and that, when you recap on with the knowledge that you've got then now, overlaying it what you knew even just that short time ago, you realise that, okay, you either are compounding it into matter and manifesting it, or you're not, which is why it was exactly 90 days instead of 10. So, and it's that confrontation with yourself there. At that point there, have you have you really convinced yourself that you are the master manifester and creator of your own reality? Or are you still arguing with yourself? Or are you doing it unconsciously or superconsciously because you superconsciously know that you need to go there and do that so that you can never imagine it again for yourself? Because you've gone through every single allowed or manifest every single possible opportunity to practice every single little bit that you could possibly imagine. You'll never get any more or any less, I don't think, than what you can possibly imagine. And I think that's what they've done. This birth certificate caps your imagination and limits your beliefs to stop you manifesting really what it is that you've got the potential to manifest. And they even refer to it as that, as your potential creation, your potential co-creation. That's intellectual property in the corporate definition. So yes, you are going to put yourselves into that position only if you need to. Some people, like we said, you don't even need any papers walking down the road, don't need to arrest anybody, but I'm armed with my mind. When we're in the police station, they obviously tried to put me in a position where I had an opportunity to do some stupid things, of course. And at one point, one of them came and put a gun on the table next to me and walked off. And there was 4 or 5 of them all pretending not to notice. And I just looked at it. And one of them sat near it, looked at me, and he said, "Oh, you want this, do you?" And picked it up and kind of pulled it apart. And it had crossed my mind that what would they do if I just grabbed that and just said, "Right, you're all under arrest and go and get in the cells." And I thought, in one way, they would have shot me, is the answer. And it would have been the excuse that they were offering me to exemplify all I would manifest it, to test myself, to see was I so stupid as to have given them the excuse that they were looking for in their mindless state. Some of them, most of them knew, and the new chief of police came downstairs at that point. And I just said to them, "I don't need a gun. You're the ones that need a gun. I'm armed with my mind and the truth." And that's why your judges putting me in there, and really you want to arrest them, and you can't because you're scared, not me. And the new chief of police came downstairs and just said, "Hello, name." And I looked at him and I said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "Oh, I'm the new chief of police." Really nice guy. And I said, "Oh, this is great news." And all the policemen looked at him and said, "You know her?" And he was like, "Yeah, this is the woman who opens shops with the rocks and stops the banks from stealing your house, and you should have just seen them." Because obviously I didn't actually know that he was that at that level, and I'd spent quite a lot of time with him and his wife in a bar that they had, talking to them about it. And he'd actually spotted on the contract, I'd shown him a contract, which was a printout from the tax office that's gone electronic. They've got this thing called TaxisNet here. And so you can conveniently incriminate yourself and disclose straight into their server, and then they can just send you a bill for the benefit of using their fraudulent service and name. So let's all line up and get our codes with our ID cards in our hands. So anyway, that's the process. And when it comes out, if you have a contract with somebody and you go and declare it so that you can get your electricity put on, you need this LFMA, this tax number, of course. And when the contract comes out, in one of the boxes, it says, "Is this exchange for anything other than money?" And now, obviously, I knew that you can have that in a contract, and we'd actually done that. But I didn't know that they'd actually got it in writing, and I've had it in my hand all this time. And it was actually him and his wife that noticed it. And he said, well, I can't believe this. And I said, what? And he translated this box. And I said, well, that's what I'm saying to you. He said, it's here on their document. And it says, is this exchange for anything other than money? On the tax document. So don't let anybody ever tell you that what we're doing is illegal. The illegal thing is that you've actually decided to use their money as your method of exchange or preferred currency. It's slavery. Why? Because they didn't bother understanding I could have done anything else, or what the actual law was. Is what you decide to credit is whether you're inside that universal law doing harmless, not doing harmless or damage, or you are. And so if you only step out from being within the law by contracting with a non-fictional entity system, then you've got the choice whether you do it or not, really. So hopefully those documents break it down at the level where we're at now as the restoration of rights. And it's your rights to yourself, really, like we talked about before. And it's great to see that so many will be going out there and doing it. It's wonderful. So has anybody got any questions or anything they'd like to tell us about? Any exciting things? Emoven's on fire in...
Yep.
Let's hear you then.
So I'm at the party, and by the way, just sort of you pretty much answered the questions that I already had from before. I actually noted down some questions for you, but then I got my answer. So I'm up at the friend's place right now, and we're having a party, and all of them are at least intrigued about what I've said. That's a big win for me, actually, because I've been hitting a pretty dead end with everybody else. But this group of people is pretty open to the idea of actually at least exploring it. So I've actually sent the website to already three people already. So it's a good night's work when we're drinking. But yeah, just I'm looking forward to the next day, week, fortnight, month, according to the Roman calendar. And yeah, I just I literally cannot get the smile off my face. And the only thing is the whole process is so non-confrontational because I'm not speaking about anything that they know. I'm just talking about a space in the mind that they've never explored before. And that's the space that the good part is that I get to get them access to that space with the information that I now know. So there is no confrontation at all. It can't be a confrontation because it's been peacefully surrendered. The only fact is that the only thing is that they can't understand what it means to assign your consent elsewhere. That's what people can't get a grasp of, I think. So whether you can actually do it.
You're not assigning your consent elsewhere. You have been assigning
Yeah.
consent elsewhere. You're
But no,
currently...
I'm saying from their perspective, like, sorry to cut you off, but from their perspective, it's that we can't consign our consent elsewhere. I was just speaking from from the vibe that I got from what they were looking at me and understanding what I was saying.
Yeah. So
Is that and
at that point, what did you say?
I was like, well, I have my assignment of consent with me, and I have my own trust. So I mean, what else can I actually say to anyone who's going to be something that is non-confrontational that nobody has any idea about? And so if I can just bring the trust back in myself, and then that I did actually discuss it with them for about, the only thing is in this, you don't know how much you'll end up talking because just one thing leads to the other, leads to the other, because you can make the connection in your mind, and then everyone's sort of, grasping at straws over there trying to understand what you're saying. So it just had to step back a bit. But in the process of the of what has been discovered, you know what I'm saying? And you tell them that it's legal and lawful and everything and all of that, and it's the only legal offshore tax haven that exists on the planet. and you just literally have your freedom. Like, I mean, people don't understand that they have a choice just to take the trust back in just one simple document and just send it across. That's all you need to do.
What you said there was really poignant there, that I've got my assignment of consent with me. You are the holder for the first time of an original document that you've kept. If you'd given that away to someone else, then you would have signed your consent elsewhere. And this is why what you've done is that's why you're holding the original all the time. You're the creditor, you write the receipts when you go in the shop, when you're doing that money exchange at point of sale, to exemplify, okay, you might be still in la la land, but I've cleaned my energy and I've got to come here and convert it back into slavery, and you're going to watch me do it. You're going to watch me, and I'm going to say to you, look at you. Are you seriously going to compound your own slavery and force me to use a slave token so that you can pay your debts with me create one? And that's what you're doing. I'm actually buying your liability, but instead of discharging it, actually buying it and compounding interest in it. I'm investing my belief in yours. And so only when you start to do those transactions yourself, sit with a receipt book and £8 and 16 rocks and kindness credit note, and work it out how you've been having yourself on and over. And and I would be introducing that in any party that I went to. I mean, Cara did a great one where there was the kindness credits on the counter of the pub bar, and the antidote spray is sitting in at the entrance. It's got the coronavirus COVID clean sticker in the window. And if the people hadn't have been so fearful of losing the furlough, which is losing the safe place, and this is what I wanted to talk about. That last night we got onto this with the meetings that we've had here, and it's the safe place. It's like there is this safe place that you've been told exists, and it is external of you. It is provided to you by some man-made definition of a system that will be there for you what if, the biggest insurance blag ever, that you can insure yourself against a what if. And then you've paid all of those premiums that we talked about before, and then somebody comes along and assesses the situation and says that your particular circumstances were an act of God. And so you were never covered anyway. Wasn't it all an act of God then? What you're saying, that this what is not, if we're going to talk about God in that definition, if that's what you believe in, and God is the creator of all of this, and then God, you've insured yourself against God. So why was you have an insurance policy at all then, if it was all potentially written off as a void surety, because you were an act of God? Isn't everything therefore a fraud to try to claim that we've got the right of anything, so the DNA and all of that we've talked about? So you holding your assignment of consent says that I was granting my assignment of consent. The question is, have you not got an assignment of consent? Have you got an original document in your hand that you're the bearer of, that you created to determine what you're not as opposed to what you are. This document says I can't tell you what I am because I don't know. And even if I did know, I couldn't tell you. Because if I did know, then I'd be back in your system and I'd be defining myself with some man-made definition that has been stuffed into my mind as a program and told me to believe that that is it, this is it, that is that. And then find out later down the line that everything I'll be defining had some like multiple meanings. And now I'm going to pull somebody up on some Facebook group somewhere and say, oh, you must mean that if you said this, according to me. That's your perception. And you know, do we accept that perception as a standard rule of how this, whatever this is applied? Or do we say, you know, here's a piece of paper that I've got my thumbprint on it. I haven't given it away to anybody. I'm in complete control of it. And then comes the responsibility at that point. And we have had people that have come in and done that and then gone, oh, delete your data. What data? You're the data. You want me to press delete on you? You press delete on yourself. You actually press delete on yourself. Oh, I need all of my legal fiction information back. It wasn't yours. If you want to go and get your legal fiction back, from where do you think you've put your legal fiction? It's fiction. Where do you think you've put your legal fiction? Is it not an oxymoron to go and look and find it? In 1 minute you're standing there saying this is all bloody fiction, but I'm off to find my straw man account and I'm going to go and get the gold out of it. Wow. That's one big messed up mind, because we're going to look for something fictional and in the hope of seeing a rock at the end of it. And we're standing here saying, hey guys, here's your rock. Ooh, here's your rock. That's got everything inside there that you need. But you want to go down there and look for the thing that I'm actually handing. I've got it, I'm holding it in my hand here. Have a look. The thing that you're looking for was your share of this rock, not just the gold. All of it. And you have got a responsibility to use it right. And that's what we're saying about, you know, going, arresting somebody, arrest that thought, right? So if I've got these thoughts flying around my head, which means that I can still manifest these police officers that can come and impose upon me, then there is some exercise and exemplification that I need to do, because I haven't probably convinced myself of this yet. These little agents keep popping up. And so, okay, I'm going to step into that abyss and tell them that I'm arresting them. Now, most people have come from a background of knowing what your common law rights are. Basic, you know, I'm obliged to prevent the crime from being enacted. So what are you all standing around for? You've got AstraZeneca pumping out poisons. You're all running around saying, oh, I know my common law rights and these people need to be arrested. What are you waiting for? Can't wait for Trump. I mean, obviously, we'll had to line up under Trump and then have that belief smash that somebody was coming to rescue you, and up pops the paedophile and says, really, this is what your corrupt mind really represents. Is represented by, is supported by, is credited to. You invest the world population credit that belief that has got that representative manifest in form that we see. And, you know, coming out the same pool or swamp, whatever you want to call it, because we're swamp monster minds. We're like, show me the money, show me the money. You know, I'm going to screw somebody over before they screw me over. Or, you know, even the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and all of that stuff. It's if we didn't create a society where the fear of loss was what we all stood on, and the safe place that we think that we've got belongs to somebody else. So even when you're in your safe place, I'm in my house, or I'm in within my rights, or the other side of us is shoving us out of that so-called safe place because it's not safe. And there, you know, how long can you deny yourself? The beliefs that I'm having are creating an environment that I don't feel safe in. Because you haven't put your surety in universal law. You haven't put your trust, rather, in universal law so it can stand surety to you. We've idolized false idols and gone, oh yeah, gold, oil and drugs, that's my God. I'll credit that. Where's my treasure in my treasury account? It was you. You were the treasure in the treasury account. So when you've assigned your consent, what have they got now? Empty hole, empty void, Vatican. It's an empty vat of the, you know, the legal fiction holds the keys to your empty mind because you've just cleared it out. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. Put my empty mind in there and open the crown and let the Vatican system feed me down, download or upload that. And that's what I am. I am a citizen of the Roman Empire, fed through this, you know, watered down version of it called British Empire, using legal fiction, consenting to commerce. And now when somebody comes and offers me a solution, I say, no, I want those pieces of paper. Well, if you want those pieces of paper, there's 16 slave tokens. There's a rock, and you want those. Now, if you take those 16 slave tokens, then you've compounded your own slavery, and you could have had £1 as credit instead. If you'd have taken the £1 as credit, that thing that you've given me that you thought was worth 16 slave tokens is now worth all the liabilities discharged. How much were your liabilities disabling your mind this month, last year? 30 grand. Okay, well, it's that thing that you've just given me there. It's worth that. 5 hours of your time. Backing that. How much is your 5 hours of your time? You times it up to 20 hours a month. Times that by 12. And that's how much is 30 grand is then divided by. And this is why it's so simple. You're already doing it. You know, go on holiday and you can go, right, okay. I remember the time when you used to get 250 pesetas to the pound and a packet of cigarettes was 5 pesetas or 50 pesetas or whatever, 250. And so, you know, what happened? Somebody else told you one morning you woke up and, you know, got some different piece of paper coming out the hole in the wall. And the price of bread went up 1,000-fold. So hyperinflation, superinflation, all of that kicks in, and it's already here. You know, the prices of everything have gone up to drive you into a position of fear, because that's the real. They can, you know, we can print money. So what does it really represent? It represents your fear. It represents your creation. What are you creating? I'm creating an environment where fear can thrive. Well, I'm not crediting that. I'm pulling my mind out of that, and even if I'm faced with the most fearful situation that I would normally respond to, with like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's the worst thing possible, and laugh at it. So I love to see that people are, you know, I'm itching to arrest somebody, because really it says there's a part of me that I need to arrest. I need to go and demonstrate to myself, you know, that part of my belief needs shutting down. Cease and desist. Put it in handcuffs, put it in a straitjacket. And send that part of myself packing. I'm really going to evict it out of my mind. When you walk into the courts and you say to them, I'm your secured party creditor and I haven't assigned my consent to you, and I hold all of the rights, of the equitable rights of the share of the planet and its resources, represented by that account that you're trying to use. Immediately you see something that you just told the truth about your comprehension of the system. So you can no longer be presumed to be a legal minor, can you? Because you just leveled them. You leveled them at the minister. I mean, like I said before, we had people that didn't understand any of it. Just saw that red paper, Vatican don't like it, off I go. Ring me up now. I'm in the PlayStation. What do I do now? Okay. that, and that. Okay, we've done that, and that. And then they go around and tell everybody. So, you know. What we just need to do really is leave off judging one another and have a look at ourselves first, and then put on a, you know, whatever outfit it is. One guy's going to the court, if there is a court, dressed the coronavirus, and the other guy is going to throw a big net on him. So we've already done a little version of this, and everybody thought it was hilarious. And we were around the town with it yesterday, and that was hilarious. There was people, you know, old people coming like, what have you got? I said, it's all right now, you don't need to be scared, I've caught the coronavirus. And they're like, some of them are like, you've got the coronavirus. And I'm like, yeah, look, and it's in a bag, in a net. There's this ball with some things stuck on it. And it looks like the coronavirus. And so it's knocked the prospects off their feet. They're standing there in abject fear for their job, fear that they're causing harm. They're in torment with their psyche, if you like. And, you know, you're going to offer them a very simple remedy that's in resonance, not resistance to them. And come on now, you know, like I said to the policeman, you know about this. You know the mayor's been served with this. I came in and presented it to you in April. You know about the antidote and the fact that we've got it. Oh, no, it only works in England. Oh, really? Ole ni elas. Everything is the rock of light. And that was it. Bang, straight between the eyeballs. Because you're speaking their language now. You're speaking to the part that we forgot that we are. And when we talk about being one and that all of that division is gone immediately, there's no labels dividing us anymore. That's it. We're all ministering with them. Just how do you minister your own energy and matter is what is causing or not causing this to appear real in your experience of what this life is. Right, we've got some hands up. Latita.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello, Minister Len. I just want to thank you very much for inviting me to this call. This is my first time. I'm a bit nervous. I'm actually from Australia, and then I saw this on Facebook. I really got very excited because I was looking for this so long, and I just assigned my consent and I received the welcome back. So I just got a few questions, if you don't mind. I know you've been doing those calls so long and people know everything. I just starting my first step. So that's what my will be question, just like from beginning, how can I do in Australia? So my first question, when I discharge my liabilities, I have a bit of fear, like with the council, what if they stop collecting rubbish or they cut off the water? Like simple questions like that from to the start.
Okay. What you're actually doing at the moment is you're paying these private refuse collectors to buy. You're actually paying them to take your rubbish away, and they actually sell it. And as a public service, each council across most corporate states is between 120 to 180,000 a year is what is removed out of your dividends, let's say. Not even your dividends, there's a running cost, so an administrative fee for the corporate councils to be providing you them with a private service. Ideally, what you would be doing isn't, I mean, just at this basic level. If I turn around now to you and said, hello, I'm a community trust operating in your area, and we are offering the service of removing your rubbish bins, and you will actually in fact get a we're taking and separating the plastics from petrochemicals in the water, and we're using that for a free energy project to, I don't know, even if it's to drive at that point, using the petrol that I've taken from the plastic to drive the generator that's providing you with the electricity. So your rubbish is creating your electricity. Wouldn't you be more interested in assigning your consent to somebody who had that as an offer, as the definition of your public service, first of all? Now, on the other side of the coin, if I come to you and I say, I haven't got a contract with you, but if you don't pay me for really what I'm doing is I'm stealing your rubbish and I'm selling it. And you're actually paying me to do that. And I'm cutting you out of the loop completely. And in the background, I'm actually a conduit for laundering your credit file for 10,000 times the amount that you actually pay. You're paying 1% administration fee to the council to facilitate the theft and the capitalising on your rubbish that will go on behind your back. And you have to pay even more because I'm now going to tell you that you need to divide these things that shouldn't have been created in the first place anyway. But hey, you consented to that as well when you bought Nestle products, for example, or plastic bottles. And so really, I'm just an agent of your either incapacitated legal mind that believes that that's a solution, or I've assigned my consent to something else to say, I want a company or an organisation and I want to be involved in the execution of the management of it. How does it work? And so I need to have my control of my rights in the first place so that I can grant them and invest them, my share of the planet's resources, to support a company, an organisation that's going to reserve my rights and that's going to restore the rights to this planet and make sure that these products aren't created in the first place. And so it's the chain of events that you're actually creating. You're replacing, first you've got your family trust. And so in there, you've got your rights to the planet's resources. And then collectively, you've got a community of trusts. People in your community are doing the same thing. And then you get together and you say, right, okay, what is it that we want to see? Well, we want to see some proper refuse collection instead of them all just scraping it up and going dumping it in the Seychelles, for example, when nobody asked you if you were okay with that, and pretending that they've done something good with it and that they're actually recycling it, which is why you have to pay an extra premium, because they sold you another pile of crap, really. So as far as the council goes, the liability, it's the council who's creating the liability because they're laying a claim to something that they've already been paid to do. They haven't done it properly. They're therefore not fit for purpose, and that's why you've sacked them. And you've assigned your consent to something else, which is an organisation of like-minded people who are going to use that process that's worked so well for the last 2,000 years to create a community worth having and to restore this rock to her rights while we do it.
Okay, I understand.
But what it looks like, what it looks like in simple form is you doing exactly the same as wherever it is that you are on this rock, in Australia, wherever. It's all the same, uniform commercial code that, and the stock exchange and the legal entity identification numbers, all that legal fiction never changes. So it doesn't matter where you are. The process is still the same. Now, we thought that we were going to have to start again in each country, and that's not the case because it all comes back. All roads lead to Rome, right? And if I work out that actually all of the dirty, filthy, corrupted roads of fraud upon your soul do lead on to Rome through that structure. So that structure has collapsed, and now it's down to you as a secured party creditor to start to create the alternative. And it looks like that red paper, that assignment of consent. You notify the council that Minister Emoven is now the occupier of that property and the liability holder at that address for whatever it is that you kept picking up and saying was yours. So Minister Emoven is reserving you your rights from incriminating yourself with such false claim, and the collateral is back in your hands as the creditor of this rock, and any charges will be discharged in the same way they were created, which is a credit and a debt entry in a ledger book roll, and it is that simple.
Okay, I understand.
Whereabouts in Australia? Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. Whereabouts in Australia are you? Because there's a few people there now.
I really want to find out more people. I am in Queensland.
Okay. Do you want to
If I could,
do you want to send me over a little email, just so, because there's lots of them that have come in, and we've had a few problems with the communication this week.
yes, definitely, I'll send you email. And I sent you 2 times with my kindness form application. I'm not sure if I filled up correctly.
We haven't got to that bit yet. We've just been going through the. You mean your kindness credit claim form?
I sent you for ebook first, and then I saw the post on Facebook example, so I resend it again. Hopefully it's right, because I'm still trying to put my head around about the claim form. Is it every time I do exchange, I put the claim form and I put all the same information, or
No,
just like
no. It's for your accounting, and also so that we can just get, do as much as we can in one go for you, and we don't have to keep coming back and saying, can you tell us about this bit now, can you tell us about that bit? So the claim forms have come in, I'm very glad to say, and so we're just accumulating those, and then when we've got everybody up to the same speed with the assignment of consent, it really is the most important document now, because it reserves you right. If let's say you even used kindness credits in your shop without fully understanding the ins and outs of how it all works, and just the fact that you've got an assignment of consent and that you're Minister Emoven in there, that's it. It's quite a title. So there's plenty of time to, get your head around the paper. Well, actually, the paperwork really doesn't require much. It just requires you to use that as a shopping list. You don't need to repeat yourself. If you've already put in there, my gas is this, my electricity is this, that, that's for you. You know what your 5 hours is spent in surety to, in monetary terms, in slave token terms. So that's for your financial logic, really. The process that we've already explained to you, what you do next, and send that assignment off. That all of that is the exchange for your red paper, let's say. And then the next part is where your energy is free to be able to say, right, okay, well now what bit next? I can invest my energy that I've already got into this instead. And by moving, the most important thing is that when you've done that assignment of consent, you've removed your peacefully surrendered collateral to that legal fiction, and they're left with an empty credit file. They're empty, an empty portal, nothing in it, an empty pixel on the screen, no data, not applicable. And go and try and find a Minister Emoven in there, and they know Minister Emoven doesn't exist in our system, is what they say to you. Thank you very much. I'll be calling you as a witness that I, Minister Emoven, do not exist in your system. Thank you. And so it's not so much the paperwork that you need to get your head around, it's the actually practicing it. And it turns out the two things are looking like they're going hand in hand. So the more, in some instances, I mean, obviously some people have been doing all of this anyway without any paperwork. We're not saying that you have to have ULC trust paperwork, but if it helps to connect the dots together, these split parts of ourselves together, and we all say, right, well, we've all got this thing in common, let's all unite under universal law and have that upheld as a standard and see what happens from there, is really what you're doing. And so it's quite simple. Obviously, you just call them and say, Minister Emoven, please update your records. And then the documents that they might try and send you is directed to Minister Emoven. A real legal fiction that they've got no right of use of. Who is it who's committing the fraud then? They're using something that they haven't got the right of use of instead of you using something you haven't got the right of use of. It is that simple.
Yes, I understand.
Good. So I'll connect you with these people then there, and
Yeah,
that'll be very nice.
yeah, thank you very much. I'll definitely send the email.
Thank you. Right, Nikki, you've got a story to tell us, haven't you?
Yes, I do. I've been bursting to just come on today and to really say what I had to say. Courage is knowing what not to fear, and I think I was still in the mindset of fearing the costume of the police. So as you know, that my car's been taken, so I didn't want to dishonor the kindness credit by messing it up. So I think that's where my fear was coming in, not knowing how to utilize myself as Minister Emoven. So I said, what has Lisa taught me so far with all the information that I've gotten? How can I then best use this for me as I ought to in the first instance rather than against myself? So then I sat up, I went in the day and I sent the recorded information to all the relevant parties. And then I came back and I still wasn't satisfied. So then I said, you know what, God, I need guidance on how to write what I'm going to say. So I write myself a script onto what to speak to, as to what to say to the police. This was today. So then I still had, you know, a little bit of fear going forward because, you know, it's my first time practicing all these things that I've learned. And I rang up the place I had my car and I said, this is Minister Emoven. I got the information that you know the whereabouts of my car. The lady says yes, they have it. And I said, okay. So I started telling her on the script, I said, my status has changed. My car has been under my trust since the 28th of December. I no longer, your statutes no longer apply to myself. So I said, I believe you're holding my car illegally. And she said, oh, it's not us, my dear. You'll have to ring 101, which is the police. They are the ones, we're just holding the car for them. So I said, all right, thank you very much. Rang 101, spoke to the police. So she was like, she wanted to hold me accountable for not having tax on the car outside. So I said, I have nowhere to park the car. And she says, do you know that the car didn't have any tax? And I said, yes, but you don't need any tax. I don't need a driving license. I don't need any tax. I don't need any insurance because I am not driving the car as a business. She said, that's fine. She was fumbling over herself. She said, the police that booked your car is not in. It will be in tomorrow, which is Friday. And all I can do is to send him an email. I said, that would be lovely. And she said, he will give you a call. And it felt liberating. It felt very cathartic because having known the fact, that imagery of them always, you know, flashing who they are or what they represent around, and it's just a mockery of yourself, as you were saying earlier. You're confronting yourself, and it's just a big mockery. So it felt really, really good because I've gone through the process of saying, I need you to. So I put everything down and I said, I need them to bring my car back ASAP.
It's really awesome what you've done, but we just need to cover this a little bit for the people who haven't been party to all of that. The car, this is being recorded, and it's going to actually, don't know whether it's going to help you if I actually explain. So the cars have to be assigned into the trust, let's say. The VIN number has to be exemplified in your ledger book roll, and you have to have changed your number plates. Otherwise, you are implying to, you're causing controversy. You're implying that you consent to be bound by and obliged to perform under the Road Traffic Act because it's applicable to things that have DVLA plates on it, for example. Now, the other side of this, obviously, is that DVLA is a registered registration portal, if you like, that is granted the right of use of your right of use, really, of you're conveying yourself. And so you're peacefully surrendering your collateral. In this form, it's your right of use to convey yourself to the legal fiction, to then buy back your right of use of the thing you have the right of use of before you give it away. So if you haven't exemplified your status, like you just said, of the standing that you have, of the standing that you have of the matter, really is the probably clearest definition that we've got with these Bible words. That you are not obliged to perform because it is a conveyance, and you haven't assigned the right of use to DVLA because the VIN number is exemplified with another identification logo, if you like, that clearly states that you're not you're not flying the flag of commerce. You're not implying that you are up for a bit of commercial intercourse. And so that's what you're doing by keeping yourself private. You can't really expect to have DVLA plates on your conveyance and not be implied to be subject to paying tax, because you're using their method of records, really, their point of reference, their definitions. By putting those number plates on your conveyance, you are implying that you are for commerce. So this is quite a big one, really. In this instance, the plates were not ULC plates, so we have to be completely truthful and sincere about what my standing really is. And if we haven't taken those steps to export that car to be recorded elsewhere, you're exporting it from the corporate state that it's being implied to be in, is what you're actually doing. And it becomes a conveyance once more. All of those glossary and legalese terminology is no longer applicable in this matter. This matter is now private. You're exercising your rights, and it's only when we grant our rights away by doing those things, by registering anything. So
I also forgot to say that I put my son and the car, luckily for me, the same day I sent the email, and I've just found the thing under the trust. So I've put, but the only thing is I didn't take the plates off and prolong the process, but I put it on anyway, yeah.
sorry, you broke up a little bit at the end of that. What did you say? The last bit about the plates.
Yeah, so I was saying the only thing I didn't do was to change over, which I'm in the process of changing over the plates to the ULC plates. But something had said to me on that day, and I put everything under my trust, that is attached to me under my trust.
How you exemplify that? It's like it's not it's not the words, is it? It's the deeds. We can all talk a good talk, and you know, I've had this conversation with my daughter today, but it's walking the walk. You know, it's does our word carry any weight, and what is backing our word? If we say, you know, I'm going to do this, and you do it, then okay, that you're going to see a different result, is all I'm saying. But I think it's great that you've taken it and using it as a process of learning. It's great. But I just wanted to be clear with the people who are listening that the situation isn't because somebody has followed the process. This is because somebody didn't quite get to that point of completing the process. So you know, it's just that. It's what am I exemplifying? What am I demonstrating? I hate the word demonstrating. What am I setting the example as? And you start to emanate that. So keep us informed about the outcome, won't you? You still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I did say yes. Sorry, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought I'd gone off again. It keeps dropping in and out. Have you got any more questions?
No, I'm good now. Thank you.
How's your app coming?
I'm still waiting on well, he's waiting on me now. I had to send something over to him. I'm still looking for that, but still waiting for him. It's still coming through. As I said, just give it until the end of this month. Everything will be up and running. I just want to make it good for everybody. I didn't want it to have any problems. So I'll just do it and then hand it over to you so you can sort of speak to him in future. I'll just do everything and then sort of hand it over to you.
Oh, that's, I mean, it's amazing. You'll just have to tell me how it works. No, they don't smash my communications. We are going to have to spread this about a bit as far as things like, you know, with like Hara's done with the hubs and things like that, and share this information in as many ways as possible. Download the files. I know some of you are having problems seeing the files. I can send you what I'm going to do with these these training modules. Is you'll have all of the files in there that are used regularly, so that you can help people as easily as possible. You know, do all this. You could even do the whole presentation, all of the steps together with somebody, right the way up to, you know, doing the deed of exchange, the acknowledgement of settlement, and discharging the debt right there between their eyes, in front of between their eyes, discharging the debt between their eyes, right in front of their eyes. Yeah. I've just seen that we've got some questions on here. In answer to that question about the assignment of consent, as it is issued, if you've got an assignment of consent and it's only got the legal fiction in it, then it's because we haven't, for some reason, got an account number. Normally, if you put your national insurance account number in there, then one document will cover every single other account. If you want to do it one by one, because that's the way you are, put individual account numbers in. Let's say it's the electricity account, off that one goes in there. Credit card account, that one goes in there. And you can do it like that. It's completely up to yourselves, but do not add anything else to it. There's no editing needed. It works because it just works. It just completely doesn't need to add. You don't add to the administration of the law. And another what you're saying is that That's it. We've all got that comprehension. And if people start adding to it, people did, obviously, in the beginning, when we were having, you opening the door, I know this about the Credit Consumer Act, or, you know, all sorts of things being added to it. The Financial Conduct Authority, for example, like you've got any respect, or you know, why would you use any point of reference of such a thing? Nothing. For validation. So these asterisks is in there. They're supposed to be there because if you disclose, then it wouldn't be NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So if you see NDA on the documents, then you know it's for a reason. The reason is because it's not being disclosed. There is a reason why. Because if you did disclose it, you would be making a claim, first of all, and you would be taxed or implied to be in commerce or misconstrued, misrepresented, and you would be defining your document for some value. So in the monetary system, so the whatever it is that went on there, it's not a quiet title, is it? If we tell you what it is, it's very simple. If I tell you something, I'm not on the QT, am I? So, you know, don't add anything to it, because otherwise we've just got to go, well, okay, Credit Consumer Act doesn't apply to you if you're under universal law, does it? So why would you refer to it? Just like trust law, you know, when we're discussing the UCC code, for example, it says in accordance, in alignment, but not in accordance to. Accord, contracting with, tied to, bound by. All of these words that we've not even considered what they actually could have the potential of being implied to mean, which is absolute madness, really. But fun at the same time, because then when you've got that, oh right, I remember the customs officer screaming at me. In fact, I told me to go and fuck myself in Greek in the end, because he was so frustrated and he didn't have anything left in his cookie jar to throw at me. And he said, just write on this document that you understand Greek law. And he pulled it out on me again, and he was very smug, and he's like, do you remember writing this on this document that you wrote, I understand Greek law? And I said, yeah. I said, but at the same time I told you that I understand it to be fraud. He was looked at me and he was like, he said, and I didn't know, because my Greek was not that good at that time. And my daughter was standing outside, and she heard him, and as I'm coming out, she's walking past me, and she just said, did he say that? He got me so cheer. And I said, yeah, he did. And she said, I'm going in there. I told you to go fuck yourself. And I went to grab her, and she just pulled away from me, and I heard her. I mean, she's fluent like a native Hellenist. Let him have it. And I just stood outside the door. I thought, that's my girl. And apparently she'd screamed at him, don't you speak to my mummy like that, in Greek. And so, you know, even at that point, I understand it to be fraud. You never asked me to define what my word of understanding what, and to what level do I understand it. So even when people are like, oh, you shouldn't say the word understand, write your own, take it and put your own take on it. What does it mean to you? So, you know, those documents, what does it mean to me? Does it mean that I need to send them to individual people? That's up to you. Does it mean that I can just hold them and go, ha ha, what a great big fool I've been? I've got a document that's I'm writing to myself. And I'm saying, do I have to have a reminder? Do I have to have a little piece of paper in my pocket that says, don't forget, don't screw yourself today. Don't trip up and prosecute yourself today, because you've been falling over yourself all this time, unconsciously down into the hole, and saying, it was your fault, to yourself. And so don't do that today. The trust says you can trust in yourself today. All of those liabilities are not yours anymore. They've all been peacefully discharged, and you've got this piece of paper. The second page is a receipt, is the bill of exchange. One day I had an indebted mind, and now I haven't. Where did you get rid of that? I bought it off myself. I bought the liabilities and discharged them for myself. How did you do that? Just stop believing it. And if I needed a little piece of paper to say, I don't even trust myself to open my mouth, then hey, I can just give this piece of paper. The paper does the talking to the paper over there, because it's all about paper anyway. And the mouthpiece of the paper doesn't know what to do. It's got no words anymore because you haven't given them any to use against you and incriminate yourself. When, you recognise it as paper fiction, what other value has it got? Well, we don't need to invest our time in ins and outs of the paper fiction, because there we go again, back into the rabbit hole of that. So it's been great reading these claim forms and being able to get all of this information so easily compiled. So it's comprehensive enough to be able to now go to these people in our community who, and their backs against the wall. We're talking about somebody with a gym today, and again, the furlong, the universal credit is what I feed my family with. What do I do with that? Well, what about if I came tomorrow with a box of food, feeding a family with everything in it, and discharge that liability that you've got in the belief that you need to contract with this system in order for you to get food for you and your family? You discharge that with a box of veg. So, it's not about the universal credit, it's not about a box of veg, it's about helping somebody out of that terrible place of the unknown and being completely compromised for that feeling of safe, which is what we were talking about before, and that surety then that you've got is the surety, realise it was all you ever needed, and put your trust in that. So all you need to do to add is your thumbprint to that. You just give your thumbprint back to yourself, it's yours, and you've got the original. And if you want to send us a copy of it, so that if we ever needed to refer to it, somebody else can refer to the date of when that happened, or you can give it to one of your friends, or give it to one of the hubs, or send it back to a copy and saying, don't give me these originals because that's yours. And that was the thing that this has all been created on, is multiplying the original as we know it, with the promissory notes and turning into negotiable instruments. Right. Got some more questions? Yes, to the training. There is training going on. It'll be kept in private on the Proton email about all of that. Horiston, you got a question? Hello? Have you got a question there?
Should I just go?
You go.
Sorry, but I've just been having too much fun listening to you. Sorry, I might have distracted people with my messaging, but yeah, just I'm just going with the flow, trying to meet you at the mind. And it's working out pretty well so far, actually. Like in terms of the only thing I can't get is that, so my partner, she got a call from a collection agency today, and they asked early like in the morning, we're just getting out, and they're like, I is God like is the fiction name there, and she actually did really great. She was like, just call him. I was like, way to go, Tiger. And but obviously the only thing is I was just a little, obviously a little concerned about, how it's going to sort of work out, because it's the first time she's got a call. And the only thing, Arvind, give it up. Whoa. All okay? Is everyone still there? Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just got a lot of disturbance in the middle. So, and then I basically wrote out a script for her saying the next time, just do these steps and it'll all be good. The only thing is, I don't know how they're still calling, because I sent uh, the assignment of consent out, and it's almost like I have to like literally call these guys and tell them that the liability holder has shifted, so please make the adjustment on your side. But as politely as I say that, uh, and according to the last, like in in addition to the last call, I followed pretty much what you said. I think I missed out one statement in the middle, which would have been very important. But I sort of said it to them that, why don't you just change the liability holder at your side? And I called them and said this is American Express, and just called them. I was like, why don't you just change the liability holder at your side? Oh, we don't have that function. I was like, you are American Express speaking, right? She's like, yes. And so obviously I got to know it was not on behalf of anyone. Thankfully, they gave the right number at least this time. And and so I have this conversation with them. I'm like, if this is above your pay grade, and I don't want to, put a liability upon you while I do this. So either it's going to be HM government corporation that's on the SEC, that's been secured by us, literally. And I say this as being Minister Emoven, that if you have not been trickled out that information till now, how slow is this system? Like literally, it's functions on, and I sent the fastest way possible with the receipt. And I'm like, I have those receipts with me, and it's been about a week now. So, and it's within the same territory that you have so defined. And I'm like, why would this information not have reached you? So I'm like, okay, I'll do you sort of I'll do you one larger than that. I said, I'm so and so, and I'm Minister Emoven, and this account has been secured. So why should I be getting any sort of messages or calls from you ever again? Because are you just now trying to go against your own contracts, or what is it? And just like she was like, she wouldn't say anything. So I was like, maybe this is not, and again, I don't want to make you liable for anything. So why don't you put on someone who knows something about it, which is maybe one step up. And well, same came back. Oh, we don't have this function. I'm like, okay, man, it's just that these guys will not stop at anything to bother you or anyone,
But
close to
can I
you.
just ask, what was the question that they were saying they didn't have that function you were asking?
Which is to change the liability holder.
is
and that this
you're,
account has been secured.
yeah, you're not asking them to do that. It's already been done.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Meaning I asked them just to sort of make sure as to confirm with them whether they're actually, whether they're adhering to what has actually
Well, they're
happened.
not, are they? So let's just go over that.
Exactly.
Very
Yeah,
good
exactly.
point. So don't expect them to, is my point. The fact that you're still expecting them to tells me that you've not quite got the this, perhaps this little bit. If they've sent an account that has been passed to you. You're the trustee in this matter. You're Minister on the van. You're the only party that can settle any matter. You are in receipt of the receipt that they have received it, and you've tracked it, so you know that they received it. If they don't want to at that point communicate with you, you're not asking them, why haven't you updated your records? I don't give a rat's ass what you've done in the background there. I'm telling you that this has already been done, because, and I'm looking at the receipt, so I already know. I'm not waiting for you to validate it. I'm telling you that I've already got the evidence that it's been signed for and received by X, Y, Z on this day at this time, because I went to the length of getting the tracking number and I checked it and said, right, that's my evidence. And so I am now, you're telling them, they've seen that on the screen, you know that for a fact, because that will be on the screen. And that's why they're calling you, because they're trying to do a phishing exercise with you. So the fact that they've suddenly called you and now it's a big scary American Express. Well, American Express have got a credit account, a kindness credit account overdrawn with its own titles to quite a decent amount of slave tokens in kindness credit. So we can be really applicable, really specific. And they've been served with contracts, of notices of commencement of contract, right at the beginning, that have remained unsettled. As an individual company, you could do it like that anyway. And I'll send you over the account numbers, and you can have a go at adding that to a really specific script, which keeps you out of coming across like you're asking them to do anything. If we ask them to do anything, you're granting away that to determine I determine things for myself and execute my own estate, and don't need to ask you to do anything. It's already been done. I'm telling you that if you want to settle this matter, then I'm the only party that you can communicate with. And should you not choose to communicate with me, then I cannot complete this offer of settlement. If you think that would constitute a refusal of offer of settlement, and as you and I know, that would zero the account. So I'm going to count to 10. And by the time I count to 10, if you haven't come back on the phone and accepted my offer of settlement, you'll zero the account and that'll be the end of it.
See,
And
so that's what I was. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I know, by the way, there's the rest of this. If you want to, I'll send you another invoice to remind you of the charges that you actually owe Universal Law.
That would be really fun to do, by the way. I would
Well,
actually,
that's it. I
I would
mean,
actually
that's
want to do that one.
each one that you do. That's just the same scripts every time.
Yeah, okay,
Every
cool.
time.
So that's exactly what I thought I would do. That I sent it to the UIDAI, which is the equivalent to the national insurance and stuff like that, because it's literally attached to everything. So okay, cool. Now, if the bank came back and said that it didn't have anything of that sort with them, which is what the lady told me on the phone, then I'll be like, okay, I'll just send you one as well individually, since you want to be treated like a prince, just so that you wouldn't call my partner and just harass her for no rhyme or reason. You know what I'm saying?
It's
And
not
it's
your
just,
partner. It's not your partner. These are all things. These are triggers. It's not your partner. Who are you? You've been a strum van, a legal fiction. Have you got a partner?
yeah,
If you're talking about your partner and they've talked to the woman who's just credited the legal fiction, or they tried to coerce her to commit that connection, then, and you're her partner.
That's what I thought as well.
Yeah, you just be really, you've got to separate yourself from that information that's been disclosed up until now. Everything that came till now is affected by now. If I direct this as Minister and then, otherwise, if I refer to, and they've done this in the banks, got quite a few stories to tell you about that. Kicked up a bit of a stink at the bank with going, and they bankrupted this guy a long time before I got to him, and 900,000 euros. They're now ringing him, telling him he's going to steal his house. He was suicidal, this guy, for nearly 5 years, every day at 3 and 4, while everybody's sleeping. These lawyers would ring up and say, we're coming to steal your house. And so we went to the bank and made this appointment, see the bank manager with an offer of settlement, with translators videoing it as well. And the woman who was supposed to have the meeting with us, she didn't come. And so she's hiding at home. And the bank manager is pretending he doesn't know anything about promissory notes. Calls her because he doesn't know what to say. And we said about making this offer of settlement on proof of valid contract and original contract and not creating fraud. And she's like, yeah, on the loudspeaker now, God knows where, hiding in a cave, saying, yeah, well, when we find it, we'll let you know. And as we're talking to her, the bank manager reached across the table and puts his hand on the promissory note, and he's just smacked him. Not yet, not until we've got a copy of the contract. And it's got the slave token amounts written on it, and you could see he was like slobbering. And so anyway, the document, she called in a few weeks later, and the document turned up. And she didn't see me go into the office, went in together, but she wasn't in the office. And there's this big, tall filing cabinet, and I sat behind this. And as she walked in, she was like, hello to him. And then she came around to her desk. She saw me looking at her, and she just seen her face. She was like, going, oh, God. And she's got this. And she's got this, look at this document in her hands. And I said, what's that? And she said, we just need him to sign this. We just need him to sign this. And I said, I need to see what it is first, not signing anything. So I said, you need to explain what it is. And what they were doing is they were getting him to sign, they were getting him to re-sign a document. They were getting him to reassign his consent to a point in time before, one day before, he'd assigned his consent on the red paper. And so I looked at her and I read the back document, and she said, I said, this date is referring to a point in time before he assigned his consent to the trust. And I said, why are you getting him to sign it now? And she looked at me, and I said, and she'd been making out that she was, I'm your friend and all this, remember me kind of thing. And I just said, you are not his friend. And she said, she's getting you to commit fraud. I said, listen, whatever it is that you say about me, at least I'm not doing this to people, what you're doing. I'm pretending to be their friends. I said, you should be shame on you for pretending to be his friend and doing this. She said, these two things are separate, and pulled page off the back of the document. And so it went from page 1 of 17 to 16 of 17. And I said, no, I've got you. And I said, there you go. I said, these documents, the numbers, pages are numbered. And that's it. You just openly demonstrated to him that you would openly commit fraud in front of him and tell him he was your friend. And that was it for him. He was like, right. And you just saw him power up. This guy just suddenly he looked like Neptune. He looked like Poseidon. Suddenly come to life in the corner. Absolutely. You did what in front of me? Suddenly got it because he saw it with his own eyes. she just tore it apart in front of me. And she was completely out of control. She'd been got in a corner, and it was that, and it was the fun. She just looked at, you exemplified yourself. You can't hide from yourself that you are party to this complete theft of somebody else's energy while you pretend to be their friend. So, these documents, however it is that you define them, and however it is that you exemplify yourself, demonstrate for yourself how each one of these works, it's down to you. And again, you can never get it wrong. Anyway, you sent that document in. You know that you sent that document in. And even if they haven't got one, the agency that you incorporated by got this on this day. No, it's not my problem if it hasn't come down to you. So
Yep, that's exactly what I was sort of. I guess again, it's a process. So again, we can miss a few steps and we can
of
not get
course,
up to that level, but we can't do anything wrong right now in any
no, of
case
course you can't.
because
As long as you
exactly
don't
because
pay them, as long as you
unlimited.
don't pay them, then you're not doing
Why would I
anything wrong.
pay anyone anything if I have
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So the only
unlimited
wrong thing,
liability?
the only wrong thing that we did was pay them protection money so they could blackmail us for some more next week. And
Exactly.
for what?
So I'm yeah,
They
exactly. I'm just yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
it's
Sorry.
however many
So,
times it takes you to get there, and
yeah, but I'm just going to be. That's exactly because the only thing is people that call me, or I call. There's always someone else picking up because it's all like a call center sort of situation over there. You should pretty much never speak to the same person twice. So,
they
like
cannot
getting
do
it.
anything. They cannot do anything. They are impotent because
That's exactly what I'm saying. That
you were the
it
one
is
that
so.
gave them the role, the movement of the energy. So there's my energy, and there's my interest in it. And so you're not that is reserving your rights. That's what you're doing. That is what we're talking about when you're signing your consent. And these people there are like, it means you stayed in my treasury account. No, it means that you put all that you are back in your determination. And however it is exemplified, it's beautiful, no matter what.
You have your trust within the trust within the trust. It's like
Right.
threefold. It's so difficult to even once you reach that level of exploring the third or second trust. It just at least you have the first level of trust, right? With the assignment of consent, at least you have that to at least bring some amount of trust back in yourself to have a certain standing, not even get away from the stature of it all and just get a standing in your own mind as to what your relationship would be to the system in any case, and then you choose whether it's commerce or whether it's excuse me, whether it's whatever you choose after that. And I think that just the simplicity of it and getting inside that second to third level, which is scary for and that's what, like, the only reason I would say my partner is because obviously we all love the people we're with, meaning otherwise what's the point really. But it's just that there's a when you're doing this and the the situation's a bit whatever in the larger uh, area that you're in, it's a little difficult to have everyone on the same page. And when it starts I- that's what the system is so good at. It's so good at just like getting to the next person. Oops, sorry. It's just really great at getting to the next person that that they can get to you. But I'm like, okay, there's only this one level. What are you going to do after this now? So let me be a little more nice to you and let me not shock you into it, because this is the first time I've spoken to you and I've already given you a nice piece of um, information over there, which is on record by your company, which you should be able to listen to time and time again to be able to get a grasp of what I just told you, that you absolutely do not understand because you're so involved in thinking that I am a debtor, an insolvent debtor, an insolvent uh, Vatican debt slave, a dead Vatican. I mean, come on, man. How many levels are you going to go to try and extort something from me, which started up on a fraud contract? Like, see, let's get real about this now. Like, if you want to talk to me as Minister Emoven, then right there, right back at you. Okay, because it's just that again, they're speaking about the same thing about not shocking them into it. So it's just that because if I want someone who believes so much in the system to be able to see the light, then at some level I have to be, and especially in the environment that I am in, like personally, is a place where there's an argument and fight over literally anything. So just to not have an adverse reaction from the other side, so they just understand where you're coming from, you just land up giving them so many. And like you said, 28th of February, right? That's so meaning as many as we can wake up politely till then. Let's just do that, I guess. And I guess I'll have to send the assignment of consent, or just I will listen to this video again, and I will do exactly that. Let's test them once again, and let's see how it goes from there.
It's yourself that you're testing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get that. That's what I'm saying. I just want to see
That's why
what
you
they
can't ever
come up
lose.
with
You
next.
can't. You're starting to realize the only thing that you were castigating yourself was yourself, claiming against yourself. It's yourself. If I need to go and put that American Express portal to sleep, then I'll go back and revisit it and do the thing that I thought, oh yeah, I should have done that. I should have said that. And so you'll create yourself another opportunity to exemplify yourself then with that experience then of, oh, okay, I'm going to say this time. I'm going to behave like that. I'm going to, and however many times it takes is however much credit you're giving it as having some value, really, it comes down to in the end, you get to that point. And so instead you put the phone down and you go to the fields and you're like, how could I ever believe that anybody could ever stop me doing this thing? Really, with or without placebo. I've got some questions. Have you got any more questions?
No, I was just that the only thing is that like the post on Facebook as well today, it's just that you're speaking to fiction in any case, and the only thing is the only thing that's making it real is your own mind at that time. Because I agree that we don't really have to do any of this, but there's an opportunity waiting for the person that's on the line with me at that time as well, who's stuck deep in the system and who believes in that. So I guess it would just go out to that one person at a time on record, so that there's a record of it on their side as well of the whole conversation.
Yeah,
So
and
I,
you
I,
record it.
I guess
You,
I guess like paying it forward in that way as well.
yeah, you're teaching them. It's an online, it's telephone service, Minister of Event, that your service. Well, how would you like your settlement dished up today? What would you like the remedy of? Have you got a problem? Speak to them like that, like we did. I talked to you about the Robinson's Way guy. Why are you doing this terrible job? Well, because I've got a load of debt. Why don't you just open the Wealthy Trust website up and see how easy it is to discharge a debt and join the community and do 5 hours calling people instead and saying, hello, I'm Minister Ben. Would you like to go on the website and discharge debt? We need a telemarketing. We want to get on the phones, get all of the there's been loads going on. People creating ledger books of properties that they've found repossessed by the banks. Loads of things. The restoration of rights in the police station done outside in the street. It's been amazing this week. That's on Thursday. So there is another question there about send me a sample claim. The kindness credit claim from me. Audrey.
Hi, yes, it was to a question that Shoki was just chatting about. You were discussing sending assignments to debt companies, and I think you said to Shoki you would send him a file, so I said, can you send me a sample one too, please?
Of course, this is, yeah, I'm going to do it, I'm going to compile it as this manual, this is training manual, and send it out to everybody. And the people who are going on the training course, Jan, and the people who go on the Ardmores. If you create an Ardmore, an Ardmore is a group of people. If you say, right, okay, I've gone to the bed and breakfast down the road, and I've organised some accommodation in exchange for their electricity bill, so that they can see how it works. Then I've got an accommodation for 5 to 10 people here to come and target this area and help these people get their head out of this as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more people that get their hands on this, obviously, the better it is for everybody in the community. So by all means, if I haven't sent you something that you want, or you can't see it on the website, on the Facebook files, that's a bit of a problem that you've put up there, Nikki. If you can't see those files, because there's loads of them, the whole timeline of the files, and starting with the evidence of life form at the bottom. We're going to have to put them somewhere else if they're not getting seen, because that gives the meat to the bones, really, of helping people get their head around it. So,
Lisa, I also suggested, would it be a good idea if we put up a post in the Facebook page to pull ideas and to create maybe a little file to describe this process to people in layman's terms?
there is a map, right? But the reason why I've veered away from it, each do it for yourself. What if you were to write like a little map for yourself, how you piece this together? What we don't want anymore is somebody else saying this means this. You can only say this means this to me, and when I put this, what means this to me, to practice, I found this. And so there is a roadmap that Bob did to help him explain it to his wife, and it's like a flow chart. Have you been able to see that?
I haven't seen that yet, no.
Right, okay. It's so by all means, right? If you're putting something together yourself, it's all about putting it together yourself now, instead of just having one set of standards. Somebody saying, still telling me what to do. Determine it for yourself and come back and go, look what I did with this. It would be great. And this is what these words mean to me. Most importantly, you write that yourself and then put it up there would be more than it's wonderful to see really what people actually mean. And it's nice for them it's nice to do it,
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Right.
I've got a question.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. This sounds so stupid, but I've been struggling to get hold of any kind of welcome pack or any kind of anything that might help me a bit, and I seem to need something called an exempt number, which I don't ever recall having had, or if I have, I wouldn't know where to look for it. Have I been stupid?
You dropped out, didn't you? When the welcome packs were sent out first, they were attached with the login details for the online accounts that we had.
Yeah.
So it should have had an email there with the login and password with the welcome pack attached to it.
I've never had a welcome pack.
So have you not got a warranty card?
Nope, got nothing. That's the problem. You see, I'm bursting to go. I've got all these brilliant ideas. I've got my vegetable garden growing. I've built my compost bin today. All is going brilliantly, but I can't get hold of any documents.
That's because you don't need them, obviously.
Well, I'm wondering that, but my sister would love to join and she'd like to see it, and I've got friends who'd like to see them. So it's just that it would be lovely to have. It would be lovely to have that
So
little.
I'm putting you top of my list there because you should have had those nearly how many years ago now?
Yeah,
2
right.
months.
Well, that's fine. That was all my fault. I'm not sorry.
He's not Loretta, yeah. I'm just putting that now down on here. Has anybody else, we should have done this before we started, has anybody else not had a welcome pack or an assignment of consent that has a person email address and that has sent an assignment over?
Yeah, myself, Lisa. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't either. My name's Vinita. I've filled in my assignment, but I haven't had a welcome pack either.
Okay. Any more for any more? Roll up, get your welcome pack.
Hi, Lisa.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, love.
Hiya. Yeah, I sent you a message, but I'm not sure if you got it. Eric's son, we've just signed him up, but he needs his number and the welcome pack and everything. He done the assignment of consent.
Okay, I'm making a list.
Do we put our photo on the warranty card?
Only if you want to. They're looking for photographic evidence usually, Tina, and so we found that it works better and more easy.
Yeah, just because I've been sent it 3 times because it didn't look right 2 times, and then now the one that I've got, it doesn't look like there's any space for an actual photo on it.
Right, on the back. I'll send you one over from here. This is what they were doing before, is as we were sending it, as though it's encrypted. I don't know what value it's got, because the documents were coming out and they were corrupted. Some of them were just empty files. You can see when I've had them sent back, they're not what's been sent out originally, you know. So something somewhere along the way doesn't really like what it is that we're doing.
Yeah, PDFs, PDFs usually open and print and look all right. If they're like a Word document file, then sometimes there's like bits missing of the file.
Right.
I find my PDF printing out really odd. Like it prints in a reverse order. So my coronavirus immunity record is just a load of black on the background with a weird white shape in the in some spaces. I don't really get it.
I had that as well.
Right, there's 2. There's a coronavirus immunity certificate that should be white, and then with the red going around it.
Yeah.
And then there is another one which is grey in the middle that says that you've been and donated your DNA to the bioethics research, and that we've given you something, and if you've given your copyright of your DNA anyway, you've given it to bioethics under universal law, which means that they can't presume your DNA and you can't give it to anybody else. Means that they can't turn around and say, the thing I've got in the syringe is good for you because I can presume your DNA. Well, sorry, you can't presume the DNA anymore because I've had something and I don't know what it is. And it is that simple. So there are 2 documents. Are you talking about the COVID clean document, or are you talking about the immunity record coming out?
It'd be the COVID clean document. I've actually, I think on message, was it Mark Movan or Minister Mark? I messaged him and said there was a bit of a weird discrepancy on it and sent him a photo of what
No,
it was doing.
it's not, right. That COVID clean shouldn't be going out at the moment, really, as it is, without a bit of explanation to it, which is what you just got there, so I hope you recorded it.
I don't have that.
Okay, on the document, does it say white female on your document, Shane?
Don't know. I haven't looked.
You just looked at it. It was grey, and oh my god, that's not the worst bit. It's saying that you're a white female. Oh. It's the doctor and handing that over. These weren't supposed to be going out yet.
Hold on. Let me have a look. I've got it printed out now. Screenshotted it and printed it instead. It kept having a weird black mark come up through the middle.
My immunity record has that, and it's really odd.
That's it. Is it the immunity record? I think it is actually the immunity one.
Right.
Might that be because
it's got a bird in the background, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah.
That's not your COVID claim then.
What's this?
That's the coronavirus immunity record. I have it here.
It is. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, it is.
And they're coming out wrong.
Yeah, I did message and said it was coming up with a discrepancy. Took a photo and sent it by email.
Can I comment on that? Did you send it from your phone to the printer?
Yeah, I believe I did, and then I did find another way, and it worked. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I found that when I tried from my phone, I got errors on the print, but when I done it from the laptop, it's fine.
From the laptop, mine comes out weird, so I'll try
Right.
it on the phone. It might come out all right. I'll see.
Okay. What area would be roughly, Nick, are you?
I blame it on the cyber gremlins.
Do you mean geographically, Emmy?
Yeah.
Buckinghamshire.
Right, okay. Just thinking if we can get somebody there with some originals for you, that's all. If you're having problems with them.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put a little note down to see if we can get somebody, or even just post it.
I'm happy to do that. Because on the PDF it looks perfect. I printed it out twice and it came out corrupted.
Okay.
If it's allowed, Lisa, I can put together a little pack with PDF and Word documents and send them out to people if that's allowed.
It would be really helpful because there are absolutely loads of people. So it's been quite overwhelming, and then the laptop was crashing, and then they took the phone out, and then it was like, okay, universe saying go to the cave. And anyway, we've come back and they restored the phone. But they're saying that because it's been out of the country, that they can't be sure it's me now after all this time, and taken the roaming off. And so it doesn't work, obviously, then we can't call them to tell them it doesn't work. So it's quite a neat way of cutting us off. And so it is really, if you can download these documents, like we said before, and have them in a hard copy, but obviously they need to be all the same, really. That's the beauty of this, you know, like the anonymous masks, making us all anonymously the same. That's what this does. And if if people are like, oh, I've got my own stamp with my own thingy on it, it's, suddenly you stuck your head above the parapet and said, hey, distinguishing myself as the debt slave, So if anybody's stuck with any documents coming out wrong, we'll post them to you. Because that would be good.
What I'll do is I put my Proton email in the chat, so if anybody's having problems, they can send me an email and I'll send them the files.
Thank you.
No probs.
That's great. Thanks, Audrey. Right.
Hello. Oh, hello.
Yes, hi. Greetings. As my first time on it, I was recommended by Lord Charles.
Hello.
Yes, a pleasure. I'm calling from Jamaica.
Lovely. You lucky thing.
Yes, well, I live in the UK as well, so. Just a quick one. The bank took my house last year. In spite of sending the record, they refused to stop and correcting the court. So I've gone through the whole thing. They took my promissory note 2 times. So I'm gonna need some help.
Right, where is the house?
It's in Feltham.
In England?
In Hounslow, yeah.
Right, okay. So, have you listened to any of the other webinars? Because the way that
My
this
first time.
right, there's hours and hours of it, and I'm sure the people that are on here don't particularly like to hear the same thing, because it's a bit like water torture. If you go on the other webinars and you don't find what it is that you're looking for there, it's a very simple process, and we have said it many times. You just need to send the longitude and latitude of your property and a valuation. And you can get a valuation, market value, mix that. And that is the amount that will be used to credit the overdrawn debtors account that's in the title of HM government. So you're actually settling your own debt. You're quieting the presumption that you're going to accept to be the Vatican debt slave anymore and credit that system, and you're discharging the charges that you would have incurred by consenting to be that thing.
Okay. I think I'm gonna. Oh, the email is there.
What do you mean? The email?
I'm gonna need some help because I'm a little bit with it. I think I'm gonna need some help.
You just need, you know how to use a website.
Yes.
Have you got a Proton email address, obviously, because you've got this link, right?
Yes, I have an email address. I sent it already.
Open your Proton email address account and put the information of the account number, the longitude and latitude of your property, and the market value through doing a valuation on Zoopla, and then press send to kindnesscredits@protonmail.com, and you'll get the relevant paperwork.
Okay, send the email to your. I'm hardly here.
It's on the website.
What's the website?
UniversalLawCommunityTrust.com.
Oh, Universal.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat box. Somebody put it in the chat box, please.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it. Is there email there as well?
Yeah, the email's on the website as well. But can somebody put it in the chat box, please?
Yeah, I'll put it in there.
Okay, I was just looking.
Okay, it's probably best to start there, and then it'll make a little bit more sense, probably, about what I've said there. And then, like I said, go and listen to some of the recordings, bring yourself up to speed, do step 1, 2, 3 to 5, and then let's talk about restoring the rights of the right of use of property that's been perhaps stolen by the bank. Good. That'd be great if the party who introduced you is going to help you with this. They've just put in the chat box. Thank you. And welcome.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Has somebody else got their hand up now?
Oh.
Let me take my hand down.
You said on the Facebook there's a link to the Live Life claim form. I couldn't find that anywhere.
There's not a link on that website for a Live Life claim, that's for sure. That's happened.
They wouldn't do that.
Or what is it? Is it the
evidence of life? Evidence
of life. That's it.
Yeah,
the wrong thing.
What you should see, what I see anyway, when you go down the files on Facebook, the first one is the evidence of life.
It's the first one, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I was
right at the bottom. So it's the last one. It was the first one that was.
So I'm scrolling and it keeps going loading.
I'll send you.
Oh, I think I was calling it the wrong thing, and that's why I couldn't find it.
Okay.
Oh yes, I've seen it. So the 206. Okay, cool. I think I was putting the wrong thing in the search.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
If you're looking for that, it's Live-Born Record that we replaced that with now. That's an
Live,
example of that document that I'd used before.
live form record.
We have a Live-Born Record, so if you're wanting to use an evidence of life form, we have a Live-Born Record that we can send you. This is going to go in a pack now. So the
Okay.
welcome pack's got your basic things in it to get you, otherwise it's absolute overload, as you've all
Yeah.
found out. That's layman's terms for universal law. I don't know if somebody can do that, then, or maybe that's what we've been doing. Maybe we've been defining universal law in layman's terms and we've missed loads out. Maybe it's that, I don't know. So we'll send you one of those over.
Okay, great, thank you.
And the manual, obviously, Tina, because you've got these people coming.
Yeah, because I've looked at the form before because Observation Deck had mentioned it previously in a video and I'd looked at it. But yeah, there's some real confusing stuff on there on how to, it's really, I haven't found any information online about how you would fill it out even.
It tells you on the document itself.
Right, maybe I got the wrong one then.
It actually written in brackets on the side, such as who would you have it witnessed by a minister, tells you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Witnessed by a minister? What, like an actual, what?
What, like an actual minister of a van minister?
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah.
Exactly like that, and that's why the minister of a van has their own version of Live-Born Record.
Okay.
So that's it's really to show you how not to do that document. Really, because even at that level, it's like saying I understand this much, and it's still like okay. The whole process of that is I still believe that there's a system somewhere pretending that I'm not, or I'm consenting to believe that there is a system somewhere pretending that I'm not alive, which comes back to me again. I'm the one believing it, so do I need a piece of paper?
No, but you need the Live-Born Record if to try and get what's that other passport that some other people have been talking about?
There's really what we really want is, like I said before, we want our own version of border patrol if we're going to have borders. We want our own version of administrative system if we're going to administrate. And better not administrate, just minister the law. Why do we have to add to it? So if we want IDs, to feel safe, then have one of these. If you want a version of food, have this version. If you want a version of border patrol, if you want a version of a passing of report, remember you're in commerce. Remember you're a womble in commerce. Still, really, we shouldn't have those there. That's the point. So
yeah, I guess if you get, like, say for instance, I've bought a ticket for, I don't know, Le Shuttle or whatever, and then you get there, they're just not going to let you board, are they?
What do you mean?
Like if you haven't got something valid or something that
You're not going to get the ticket anyway, are you? Unless you've preempted it and gone into great depth to exploring the avenue of what is it that I need. If I haven't got a passport, in order for me to exercise my right to travel freely, because you wouldn't be really implying that I can't exercise my rights, would you? Because that would give me the right to remove you, because any administrative code or legislation that breaks that constitution of universal law is invalid by its very presumption of it ever existing.
I've never agreed with this whole like border thing anyway. I don't really see why it should be stopping anyone going anywhere.
You shouldn't. It's only through fear, isn't it? Oh, somebody's coming, somebody's coming. No, that you're actually paying them. The people that you're scared of, you're actually paying them to be there, to occupy your mind with the belief that somebody's coming. Wow. So there's stateless people's documents. There is It's all out there. If you want to go down that avenue, I'd rather we put our energy into creating a position amongst the people's minds where they turn around and say the same thing that you just did, that you don't acknowledge, you don't think that we should be putting borders in our way. It's like these toll roads. This bit of the road's free, but I've just put a barrier up, and it's highway robbery, literally, in your face, you know? What are you doing? I've got to pay £3, but if I'm in a bus, I've got to pay 15. Well, that's because you're in commerce. Well, if that's because the bus is in commerce, then it must mean that I am too. What happens when you drive up to that barrier and you push it out of the way? Nothing, apart from the bell goes off because they can't do anything. It was like Rita Sue and Bob 2 on acid coming out of our things when the coronavirus at the same time. and there was no tolls paid that day. What are you doing? How dare you put a barrier up there and say, I can pay you with slave tokens to continue exercising my right to travel freely? I dare you, sit in a box. I should get out of my car and arrest you right now, turn around and take to the police station. Really, I mean, it's totally about the people wearing the mask. I'm coming. It's the only way to get people to do the right thing is to do the thing that these people have been doing, which is to cause more fear to not do the right thing than it is to do the wrong thing. If look at everybody, who all wear a mask rather than pay something that doesn't exist. Rather than have a look and see what it is, who am I paying first? Just ask that question. Are you paying the coronavirus to not come and get you your dollars and pounds and slave tokens? Does the coronavirus take slave tokens? I can pay you £300, you know, I haven't got my mask on. I don't. Why? Because I breathed some fresh air. That's why. You're really taxing me for breathing fresh air. That's what you're doing. But you've got me. Actually, if you told me that that was what you were doing, I would have strung you up already. But I told you I was here to make you safe. Put on your masks, boys and girls, because the oxygen's not good for you anymore. And if you want to suck some of that up, you have to pay me. You know, what am I now? I'm the corporation of air. I'm like that. What's it called from the bloody, what do you call it, film that? The one where he chops all the trees down and he's like a hairy thing. What's it called? What's that called? Where he sells the air.
What's the air?
He sells air. His
Remember
name's
Total
O'Hare and
Recall?
I sell air. Do let it grow. What's that one? Lorax.
I remember,
The Lorax. It's like the bloody Lorax film. Have you not seen that?
I don't know, maybe. I don't really remember much. I don't really watch much stuff anymore.
Dr. Zeus. You've got to watch Dr. Zeus. It's telling you all about what's going on, Dr. Zeus.
I think I might have read those books when I was a kid.
Like, where do you learn all this from, Dr. Zeus? What's your level of qualification? Lorax.
The orange guy.
Yeah, actually, the guy who came with us when we did the land Magna Road, we called him the Lorax because he looked like him. Lorax is going to come out and tell you off in a minute. Come out mostly today. I was like that. It's very funny. So yeah, it's time I think we stopped paying tax to breathe oxygen that was given freely by the universal law as part of the element. And we haven't seen the contract from anybody. The coronavirus, you know, I've caught the coronavirus, it's in the net, nobody needs to worry about it anymore. And we've asked it, and it says it only accepts rocks. You can't pay it anymore. You can't pay a fine to the coronavirus. It hasn't got a mobile phone, so you can't text it a message and say where you're going. And it can't go out at any time of night anymore, in all seriousness, because it was never there in the first place. So it's confessed all of its sins, and we've forgiven it. So you don't need to be scared of it anymore. Go outside and suck the air. It's all been discharged. So, has anybody else got any messages? Any more messages or questions?
I got question. Can I ask a question as well?
Yes.
I just want to ask question about activating credit kindness credits with that welcome pack. I don't really understand how can I activate. Do I send the same claim form, kindness credit claim form?
Yeah, you fill that out, like we said at the beginning. Add all of those things that you've been paying onto that claim form, and it works a treat.
Okay. And do I have like any login to my kindness credits account and I see it? Is it
No.
on website? No,
No,
I don't.
we stopped doing that because we can't trust anybody other than ourselves, and that was wonderfully exemplified by somebody who tried to steal all the data and lock us out of our own creation, which wasn't very nice at all.
I understand. And what this login for on website, Universal Law website for members, what this login is for?
It's just a feature on there. Again, don't get bogged down on that. You're not missing out on anything. Really, while we're all sitting in front of our laptops and trying to get into online accounts and online members and creating online hubs, we're missing the point. We need to be face to face with the people, going door to door, saying, hello, I'm Minister Emoven, I'm here to discharge your liabilities. How can I help you today?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I would like to tell people and help my friends first of all. And now I have this prepaid credit. So if I already send you that claim form, so this account is activated.
That's it.
Okay.
Activated it by assigning your consent to it. Now, in what way are you going to minister it? So you can even tell your friends just by doing that bit that you then received that. You received the welcome pack, and this is what it means to you. This is what you did with it then. Then you followed the steps, and then speak to them just about those few steps that you took. And then bring your friends into like a little hub, and then all together as a community then got moved to the next level. And so it's work smarter, not harder, and use 1% of your energy to support 99% of your community with.
I understand. What if some people not ready to assign consent? Can I help them like to pay out debt, like a fine?
Yeah,
with
you
the
would.
promissory
Yeah,
note?
you would. No, don't. You're not paying anything. You first of all, you need to know what you've done yourself. So you've assigned the liabilities into your trust. And what you need to do is go and listen to the webinars, because I'm really don't like repeating myself many times.
Yes, sorry, I understand. Yes,
So,
I'll do that.
you know, I'm reserving my rights. It's teaching you that. It's all out there already. And then come onto the Zooms and ask some questions if you haven't found what it is that you're looking for on there.
All right. Yes, I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, any more for any more? It's 11:11 at my end here. Allegedly. No.
I have a question.
Okay, fire away.
How do you minister the whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to practice, to people who don't understand the language? Say if you're, like Tina's question about going through passport control, for instance, if you don't have what they understand to be a passport.
That's already been covered as well, where it's been put to the test. You don't obviously just turn up at the passport, at the airport. You won't have a ticket, will you? Because you won't have prepared them for not being able to issue you one, because you haven't got a passport to put in on their online account. So there has to have been some communication with somebody prior to that. And that's what happened, which has been explained. on the previous Zoom rooms about using an evidence of life to travel between countries and the outcome of that at the airports in Manchester. And the woman standing there is saying, well, I don't recognise that. Well, now, bear in mind, we've come from Ikaria to Athens, Athens to Brussels, and Brussels now in Manchester. And we've got this standing here telling me that she don't recognise it. And you need to have a passport. And the simple thing, I have a copy, which is freely available, of a similar document, evidence of life form, that the Queen signed for Anthony Santiago Martin when they laundered the gold through the Philippines. And I pulled that out and I just said, I think you better go and check with somebody above your pay grade, because if it's true and you determine that the Queen of England signs invalid documents, then they will have to give all of the gold back that they stole from the Greeks. Do you want to be responsible for that? And so she went upstairs to the observation decks and came back downstairs very sheepish and said, well, normally you've got to have a passport, but we'll let you through this just this once. And I said, there's nothing normal about being a Vatican debt slave, but have a lovely day. And, you know, even standing there and you're thinking, oh my God, you know, but that had taken a lot of preparation. You know, I called the agency and just said that I haven't got a passport. And I've got this. So they asked to see it, so I sent it to them. And the ticket was waiting for me at the ticket desk, and that was it.
Okay, thank you.
Evidence of life format. So instead of using their document, we have a live-born record instead. And live-born records have been used to get passports from the British government. I like the fact that there is, the point is that you're getting to the point where you realise you don't need a document, and at that point you're standing there looking at the illusion that you thought was there and you're just walking straight through it, doesn't it? It really is your imagination that holds it up. And without it, it doesn't exist. What else have we got? Any more questions? I'm just reading through these questions now. Right. I can't see any more questions now. Has anybody got any more questions? A couple of people just joining us, but it's
Well, I love the story. If anybody hasn't got any more questions, I've got a quick story.
Coming to it.
Yes, please.
Well, today when I was braving the winter cold and getting the garden ready, and I'd had a compost bin built and I'd shifted all the compost, and I was absolutely covered from head to foot in smelly black stuff, and I was just kind of getting ready to leave the garden, and I looked down, and on the ground right in front of the new compost heap was a perfect quartz crystal point. And I have no idea how it got there. We don't live in a part of the country where crystals appear. So I asked myself, what's that? And I got a very careful answer. It said it's a present from the garden fairies.
That's really cute. That's really awesome.
Yeah, so I'll take a photo of it and show you, but it was just beautiful. Anyway, that was me. So.
Yeah.
Nice one. Nice one.
Yeah, just maybe as a quick question. Hello? Yes, hello?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a quick question with about insurance company. Trying to get them to underwrite a policy for a while, but they're refusing it, and the CEO is non-responding. What do I do?
Stop writing something that doesn't exist and indemnify yourself. You need to go on the webinars. All of these, we haven't done this for, just for shits and giggles. We've done this so that people can go and show some due diligence, listen to what it is that's already been put out there, and then come on here, and then we'll have some shits and giggles then, but I'm not repeating myself. So please go and show some due diligence, and it's all there for you. If after you've gone and listened to all of that and then you've got some questions, by all means come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna really need some personal help, honestly. Some help.
Yeah, we've told you already, you need to do these first steps and then the rest of it will make sense to you, okay?
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
There's a unit in Glastonbury that's come up for lease. It's an old organic cafe, and I've managed to get a direct contact for the person that owns it. I'm just wondering, what would you suggest would be the best approach in like bringing up, turning it into like a pub?
I've just done a document.
Hmm?
I've just done a document for this, for introducing. It's not introduced. We've already got the introduction of kindness credits as a currency into community, but this is for using it in place of transactions done between businesses, business to business now.
Yeah.
And so I'll send you a copy of that as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because I don't know if they've got any debt on it or not. But I can find out, and then. But if it's just sat empty, it might be incentivized to just get it up and running. Because if we use kindness credits, then we can still open even though everything else is being closed at the moment. So
exactly, and that we need to. It's about being very specific for as much information that you can find out about somebody's circumstances can help you to be really direct and effective with the help that you can give somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, don't send me over emails or websites and don't tell me what it is that you want from it. I don't know. There's a whole sorts of products on these websites. If you haven't been specific, then, I'm sitting there looking at that, right, okay, and so, the same way that we've done with the veg boxes now, if there's other things on our website there, new one that's just gone up, for example, in Kent area, all sorts of things in there. You can do a shopping list. You can buy everything in there that you went to Aldi and eat, and it's not going to kill you. How about that for a start off? And you can afford it because you haven't got the liabilities anymore. And even if you're not in kindness credits, because you're working as a collective, you're already in kindness credits anyway. Because you're working as a collective, then you're investing your energy consciously into your people in your community and supporting them. That's what kindness credits is. And it's first level there. It just looks like, okay, have I got a load more customers? That's great at that level. Or I've got to be able to open my shop, or I've got to be able to charge somebody, some rent that I didn't think I was going to be able to, and relieve that, and then help them relieve that mind you didn't actually need that either, turns out. So, again, just be really specific. It's research. Everybody loves research, and go and find out what it is, what solution is it that you can give to that person. What do you need? What do you need this rock to look like for you to be all right? But to make you feel safe standing on this rock, or let's all hold hands and say, you're okay. I've got your back.
And I got a tax bill through the post. Do I just send that red letter, don't I, and just update the account number on it?
Who got the letter?
I got a tax bill.
No, who did?
Oh, actually, no, I didn't.
So
Okay, a letter,
did a
a
naughty
letter came through
company,
the post.
did a
A
naughty,
letter came huh?
naughty company wrote to another naughty company and said, hey, did you want to do some naughties? Do you want to do some bad juju? Ah, yes, please. No, thank you, not today or any other day. Not at this address.
But I need to respond with that letter, though, don't I?
No, not at this
No?
address. They're pushing you.
Oh.
You've already
Oh, so,
updated. Have you already updated the information of Minister Emoven being the liability holder in the website in their website?
oh, on their website? How would I do that then?
I'm moving in. You're going to moving house, moving in. Go on the website. Minister Emoven moved in today. What are the details? This. Is there anybody else under the age of 18 living there? No, and that's it. And the actual protocol and steps are also on the Facebook group's posts. If they're deleting these posts, obviously it's going to make it.
What? Yeah, what you mean with HMRC? You don't tell HMRC you're moving in anywhere, though, do you?
You don't tell HMRC what?
You don't tell HMRC that you're moving in anywhere, so they're still going to send correspondence here for that legal name.
They check it against the council tax register. We talked about this at the beginning. First point.
I'm not on the council tax, though.
Right. So how do they know that you're there? How do they know that you're there?
Probably through my accountant.
Right. So you sever that. That's the point. The portal, isn't it? That's the door you need to shut.
Right. Yeah.
So you notify your accountant that all of the liabilities have been discharged. He's going to love you, offer him the opportunity to retrain as Minister Emoven accountant kindness in his community instead, and he will stand surety to his 5 hours, so he doesn't have to think, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. No, you're just going to look different. You're just going to do it, not for the benefit of yourself this time. That's it. You're going to cook the books in kindness soup flavour, and to make them disappear. You're going to get to the point where we need an accountant for what? To account for what? We're not doing anything except commit fraud. We're accounting for fraud. Oh yes, that's my fraud. I'll commit fraud. I'm over here. Ask me that. Who needs to ask me once? Just ask me what my name is, and I'll do it like that. So it's not your letter. It didn't come to you.
Well, I tried to remove myself off the electoral roll, but it wouldn't really. They wouldn't let me do it online. The council website.
Because so there's some point of reference there where you're still either asking the wrong question to the site itself, or or call them up. So I'm Minister Emoven, and somebody else is still showing on this electoral roll.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
But why would you put Minister Emoven on the electoral roll?
Well, you wouldn't actually.
No.
You wouldn't bother.
No. There you worked
So
it out.
I'm better off just ringing them up and saying.
You've worked it out yourself. What can I do with Minister Emoven now? I'm Minister Emoven. Am I going to go and make a contract with Minister Emoven and say, hi, can you just put me down to vote for you, please? No, you're not going to do that. Oh, please.
No, I just need to get the legal fiction name removed then. I don't need to update it with the minister.
You can ring up as the legal fiction and say, hi, I'm the legal fiction. I'm just notifying you that I've gone to Guatemala.
Yeah.
Use imagination, They only know that system only knows what it's told because it's you telling it, and then it uses it back at you to try to incriminate you. It's like gaslighting. You're gaslighting yourself. Going, no, stop doing that, naughty government. Oops, go again. Set fire to my pants. Oop.
Hang on a minute. So I could ring up HMRC and just say, I'm moving abroad.
No, I'm moving abroad because they'll go, no, you're not, because you've got to have a COVID test, and you're not going anywhere because we know that you won't have one of them, so we know you're lying. We know it's you.
There's people going everywhere anyway at the moment.
Just say I've already gone. I just thought I'd better tell you that I've jogged on. Where have you gone? Can't tell you. Quiet title. And have some fun. Please don't make it serious, people.
No.
We know.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how I get my limited company under the trust, because you were saying I could get the limited company under the trust, and then I write to HMRC and say that the business is no longer.
If you've got a limited company got a limited company, it already is under the trust, because Universal Law Community Trust has secured all collateral legal fictions that whoever once claimed to be licensed by or presumed the right of use of by HM government, which includes every company that's registered at Companies House. And have you seen them all shitting themselves? People are putting, do you know what it means by that? It means us as well. We're all secured by universal law. Oh, well, you were only unsecured in universal law before, that's all. Don't mean I've claimed your soul. You've taken my mind. No, I really do not want that. Thank you. You can keep that libelous thing to yourself. I've got my own to deal with. So it's been quite funny actually watching this transition, and when people get to that point where it's like, ding, now what's the next fear? The fear of the government being dissolved, that's gone. But I've got to find something else to be scared of. Oh shit, be scared of universal law now because it's secured me. So all debts are already settled because that collateral, you peacefully surrender that collateral. HMRC can't write to you. We can't write to Minister on them anyway, because they're secured, they're legal fiction.
Yeah. Okay. Still trying to get my head around it all. Because I still need that bank account open for certain things. That's the only thing.
You've talked about this, haven't you? If you want to use a bank account that's got the legal fiction on it, then that's what it looks like. If you want to use a bank account that's got somebody else's legal fiction on it without its rights reserved on it, it hasn't got any association to any of the liabilities that they're trying to amass in the same account. What they've done is they've put the liabilities against the equity of each account, but really what they've done at the same time is separated it. It should have just been one thing. They turned it into two, and then had two parts of you fighting yourself is really what's been going on. And that's the big battle that you've got. It's not about...
But then the limited company bank account is not me, it's my limited company's name anyway.
And the limited company name has been secured by Universal Law Community Trust. Once by you, and once by the filing. If you want to still use slave tokens, and that's it, this is the push now.
But the landlord's still going to want it. That's the thing.
The way that you do it, love. I'm not saying that you. Of course, the landlord's going to want it. If we haven't gone at the landlord and explained it all to him as well, or just we have this conversation today. If your landlord doesn't get it, you've done it on their behalf. And if at any time you're actually standing surety to your landlord at that point.
He's already living off grid anyway, so he just needs it for his kids.
Whatever it is, it's just whatever it is that you've agreed to do to not cause a liability with somebody else. You either teach them or you convert a part of your energy back into slavery because you haven't done your job right yet. And then the more you talk about kindness credits, the less you'll need to convert your own slavery into slave tokens. The less you'll have to convert your energy into slave tokens for. And that is when you realise that actually I've got this percentage of my energy in slave tokens still, and this percentage of my energy I've discharged with doing these exchanges. So that's why, there's to exemplify something in that area where you are, and especially to people who are already living off grid, to show them that they can say I'm living off grid, but somewhere along the line, you're still using slave tokens, right? You're still creating a debt. You've got these people saying, I haven't got any debt. You would, unless you've got a rock in your pocket and you convert all your energy out of their system completely, then we're all still supporting that slave system to some degree or other. So, you know, it's not about somebody doing it for you. It's about sitting there and looking at it and going, right, okay, what is it that I want to achieve? I want to achieve that. What is the best thing that I've got to be able to achieve that with? What is it that I can use in place of the slave token? What is it that that particular party really needs? And go and identify the need. Because otherwise they're not going to, if you don't identify that need, you can't
Well,
tell
I know
them.
his need is paying maintenance for 6 kids.
It's not. It's not. It's if he's paying maintenance for 6 kids,
Yeah.
then it's because the people that he's had those 6 kids to are
Yeah.
passing the liability onto him, which means that he's got to pass it on to you. So
Yeah.
by you explaining it to him, he can explain it to them. They can turn around and say, well, it was only giving us that amount and it won't cover in half of it. So I had to go to work as well. I had to take a benefit. And with this system now that's been explained so easily to me that if I go on this website and put my accounts in here, then nobody has to pay anything again. Everything's maintained, not by slave tokens. Everything is destroyed by the use of slave tokens. All creativity is completely capped. Got an economy here. We've got the most amazing products here, and their economy has completely been strangled. They've not been able to interact. What do you call it? The bureaucracy of being able to even just open a shop is ludicrous. And so when you turn around to them and say, right, okay, you see all of that land up there that you've left for the last 30 years because you had to go to Athens to chase slave tokens to pay your electricity bill so you could stay in Athens to buy plastic shit to stay on that treadmill, and while all of your land every year fruited and it went rotten. Wouldn't you like to go and live there and be healthy and support yourself and your family through that application of your energy? Because you don't need slave tokens anymore because your resources are wrapped up behind the toll of the slave token. Yeah. If we want to talk about, I'm off grid, no, you're not, your dingbat, your mind is in there with the matrix, but, you know, I've still got to convert my energy into slavery. And so it's as much, it's as much as you know yourself. I only know this bit and I felt better. You know, you don't know, you haven't got to all of these other parts yet. And because you don't need to. There's the fact of what you've done instead, Tina, and whether you comprehended it inside out and upside down or not, you haven't. And you.
I mean, I keep getting progress, and then I keep feeling like I'm.
What it's like doing it when I talk to you, when I hear what you've done and all of that. It's like you've done it, and then you're looking back on it and going, "Oh shit, should I have done it differently?" And you're doubting yourself after you've done it, which is completely new for me. True, like an enigma.
I think it's just that fit. I know what it is. It's just because I'm engaging with other people, like the landlord, like my ex or whatever, and I just can't get anyone on side.
Don't need to, do you?
It's making me doubt. It's making me doubt my own decisions, I guess.
And that's it. Am I ever going to let somebody down? Am I ever going to doubt myself? That's what it is. And am I ever going to blame somebody else for the questions that they've asked me? What I'm doing is I'm coughing these people up to manifest themselves into my life to ask me the question, have you got it yet? And I go, no, shit, but I should have done something else. It's yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for highlighting that to me. And I'm very pleased to say, got like covered. Does it matter? No. Does it matter? Only if I make it matter. Keeping myself.
But then I guess because my ex is like, she's not interested basically because it's all new and blah blah blah, and hasn't got the time to look into it. Usual story, and So then I'm feeling like, well, if I start making all these steps to remove myself fully from that system, how can I do that if I've still got joint? Well, it's not me though, is it? It's the legal fiction. Still got joint liability, isn't
There
it?
you go. Yeah, there you go. Just by talking about it, it helps to unravel it. Of the lunacy that we're actually subjecting ourselves to. I mean, in a nice way. I don't mean it in an insulting way. But it's like having a chat with yourself. Got to chat with yourself. All right, okay, I just did, and I got back to the point where I was just having a chat with myself. I was
Tell you what, I feel like I'm wrong. I feel like I'm wronging other people that trusted me. That's what I feel like. I don't know why.
Because you're moving through this transition, in what way, if you're causing somebody a liability, that's why you don't give somebody a rock and walk away. You know, you convert into what it is that they need. You've not turned around and said, right, to your landlord, I'm not paying you. You've just said, right, to your landlord, I'm finding it easier to pay you. Do you want to know why?
Yeah.
That's it first.
Mm.
And if they don't, if the landlord's not going to accept it, then okay, I respect that. I'll hit you on the back of the head with the rock as you walk out the door. Not kidding.
I mean, it's not a big deal. I could just do something else. Try and find somebody else who's got a building who will gladly do it.
It's not that either. Because you don't need at the moment. It's just that level. Okay, so I've discharged all of the things that I don't need somebody else's consent or agreement to do. I can do that for myself, and it's become easier for me to do the thing that I was nearly struggling to do. Now it's easier. And it's that's that level. Don't expect it to be bang, 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 because it's your resistance to that resistance that you're seeing. So because you're still in resistance to yourself at the moment, you've got these people, apparitions, to make appear real in this, what's the word, interaction with yourself, to say, have you got it yet? No, I'm going to doubt myself. I need to see you again next month. I doubt myself enough to be able to explain this to you correctly. Or you get to the point where I don't need to explain this to you. I'm just going to show you. And you just do it.
I've actually been worried about just turning around to my accountant and just saying, I don't need your services anymore.
So doggone. No, be nice with kindness credit. Say, they can offer a settlement if you agree to help people comprehend this, because you'd be very good at this as Minister and Fem, and do 5 hours in the community. I'm not going to arrest you for everything that you've done in facilitating fraud in my community. They'll love you for that. Can you see why it take a while for us to get these communities off the ground? Because obviously it's not professional, is it? To go in there.
No, she's just a mum. She just works from home, like doing people's accounts.
People say it's not professional. This is what they've been doing. This is professional. Go in there and say, right, I've opened my own accountancy, so I won't be requiring your services anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say I'm going to be administering my own accounts from now, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
But you could take, give it an opportunity to teach somebody. Or you're gonna minister your own accounts. You've been to accounting. I'm a chartered accountant. I've spent years and years learning this, and you think you're going to come along here and do this job? Yep. And I'm not paying any tax at all because I use rocks. and get and to explain it. So if you're going to do it like this, I'll keep you. But I'll pay you in rocks. What they look like: organic food, natural remedies, free energy, and tax-free life. That's what you get in return. I'm making the offer.
Yeah.
But don't do it if you're like, oh, I don't, I'm scared of doing it. What, scared of what? Going and having a bit of fun. If that's really what you're doing. Going and kicking holes and confronting that silly self that we've got. hanging around behind us going, oh, Golem's here now to tell you you're wrong. My precious is leaving me. And, you know, it's that. Actually, I'm not leaving you. I've got to take you with me, with my ugly bits as well. And you know, here I am to tell you this. I think of it, whatever it is that you may think of it. It matters not to me.
Well, I think it's just a lot of people just can't get their head around the whole legal fiction thing.
I don't care about that. I because I can't. It's not. I can't come bogged down with. You know, if I waited for everybody to be at a certain level, I mean, this is what split the land council up, because it was under conditions. If these people do not get off their knees by September, that's it. Well, that's it. You're just going to leave it. You're just going to dump them. and go, I've got all of this information, I'm going to go sit on the beach. Okay, well, I'll have a look at what that fiction looks like, because you can't do it. So, you know, if we're waiting around for other people to do it, it never gets done. And don't expect anybody to do it for you. And don't expect anybody to even honour what it is that they say they're going to do, because, and trust yourself in that. You know, if there's anybody going to do it, it's going to be me. And if it don't get done, it's because I didn't do it. That's it. Doesn't matter what anybody else does or doesn't do. That's their responsibility, and that's why we've ended up with, I believe, a reality like we've got, because everybody's bothered in what everybody else is doing. We're not even giving any acknowledgement of what it is they're doing themselves, and all the time they're looking outward. It's you, it's you, it's you. Well, actually, the fact that you point your finger at me is the reason why it's like this, because you never took it upon yourself to someone else. Actually, it was my golem talking to me, and I take responsibility of it, and I've stuffed an apple in its mouth, a rock, and said, shut up. And that really is the point of these webinars, is to minister your mind, is to get hold of that part of you that's going, hee, you don't know what you're doing. You're not actually right. But if actually right, I never known what it is that I was doing. I thought I knew what I was doing, and it turned out that thing that I was doing, I didn't know half of what it was that I was actually consenting to and creating. So I can trust the fact that I don't need to know what it is that I'm doing. All I need to know is that I'm not doing that, because that's all I know. So as long as I don't do what it is that I think that I know, I get to that point there, then it all comes to you. But you do have to get out your own work.
Yeah.
So.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I need to disappear, so I'm going to say night. Thanks very much.
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks.
And what we're going to do about them, it's a bit dark in there. I don't know if that holding centre that you built looks is in the no.
I'll have to have a word with the owner of it first. he's actually on about, he wants me to build his garage next, which is twice the size, and then he wants me to build a warehouse.
Was it supposed to have windows in it?
Pardon? No, it wasn't. No, it's just me mucking about as normal.
Oh, I thought I thought you just supposed to have.
You can't take me seriously. I do like trying to laugh. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. Anyway,
it'd been more fun if it really was supposed to have windows in it, and you hadn't put them in. That would have made them a real roll on the floor. What about the guy, before you go, what about the guy who's bought 25 kilos of white rocks for 25 slave tokens? What about that? Who says you can't sell rocks to people? Yeah. That's incredible. They didn't buy them off me. I didn't sell rocks. I want to know whose rocks they think they had to sell to that poor guy. As a guy gone and bought them so that he can paint them, and they leave messages all over Bournemouth with like kindness and things on them. And And so this guy put these rocks that was rolling on the floor. Somebody paid 25 slave tokens for 25 kilos of rocks. So I've said we'll sponsor 100 of them with kindness credits, and take his, well, take all of his liabilities in exchange for his libelous mind that he thought that he'd have to buy 25 quid's worth of rocks off himself. That's the funniest bit. So I was in there. I thought, oh yeah, here we go. The universe is showing us Shane now building his a tea room with no windows in it. So right, everybody's going. So it's 10 to 12. If we haven't got any more questions, I'm off.
All right, night night.
Night, Victor.
Yeah, night. Cheers. Bye bye.
Yeah.